In this episode of OSFirstTimer, Dinah is going to explore the in-depth history of emojis, from their humble beginnings as text-based emoticons, all the way to the ever-increasing complexity and variety of emojis we have today. Along the way, Dinah will try various emoji-based activities and experiments. Will Dinah be able to write an entire story filled with emojis? Keep watching to find out. So today we'll be talking about emojis, the history of emojis, and how anybody can put forward their suggestion for a new emoji. But before we begin, let's do a few simple emoji experiments. So we've got two phones here. We've got an iPhone and, of course, an Android phone, a Samsung phone, my dad's phone. So what you're going to do now is you are going to text him. And I want you to just text him 3 random emojis. Bring up your emojis and text him 3 random ones.
Okay.
Tree, star eyes, and happy face. Okay, send that to him. Now he should receive it. And tell me if you notice anything about it.
They're slightly different.
Correct.
The stars are red there.
The stars are red. The inside of the mouths are black.
Yeah.
The tongue is red, and the Christmas tree is even different.
And you don't even see tongues here.
And if you did that, you'll notice that every single emoji out of all the emojis you've got on your phone look different on his phone.
Oh.
Which means when you send someone something,
you don't always know exactly
what they're going to
see. Yeah.
Let's do another experiment.
But what about iPhone to iPhone?
That'll be the same. If they're using the same version of iPhone.
Okay, so even the different versions
they
of
can
the same
update the
type
looks.
of phone.
They can update the emojis. So, for example, if someone's got an old version of iOS that doesn't include newer emojis and stuff. Anyway, we're gonna check that out soon. For the next experiment, I want you to now copy and paste those emojis. So just, you know how to copy and paste? Yep. Copy and just email that to me. Okay, and send that. So as you can see on the computer, what are you noticing?
They look the same as they did on your father's phone.
So now if we were to copy and paste these straight from Gmail here into Notepad, they look different yet again.
Pink stars.
So constantly.
And the eyes are completely different.
Everything's completely different. Once again, that mouth is more wide open here. So something's going on here. We've done a few...
And that's even different to both the Apple and also the PC and the Android.
Correct. So we've done a few different little things here with these emojis.
Yeah.
And you can see they're highlightable. They're not little images, because if you're sending images, images don't change when you send them. They're emojis. Something's going on here.
They're like text, like they're highlightable with copy and pasting like you're doing
Absolutely. They're highlightable just like that. But when you copy and paste them between different platforms, they keep changing. Something's going on. And I'm going to teach you a little bit about why this happens later on in the video. But for now, we've got one more experiment. Now, this gets even more interesting if we think of a scenario that could have occurred in 2017 based on some differences with emojis and how they are displayed. So let's say someone with an iPhone sent the following message to a mother with a Samsung phone. Bring your kid upstairs, I'm going to give him what he deserves. It's a little water gun. He clearly bought the boy a water gun for a present and wants to surprise the boy, but if the mother had a Samsung phone, this is what she would see when receiving the message. Bring your kid upstairs, I'm going to give him what he deserves.
Oh my goodness, like shoot him. And that's what he deserves, to be shot.
Exactly. So there's
that's not a water gun.
The pistol emoji in 2017 on an iPhone looked like that.
Yes.
The same pistol emoji when sent there was it. Now, this didn't actually happen. I've just created this scenario. But if you did this in 2017, this is what would have happened.
Wow.
Samsung have updated their one to look like a pistol now instead, just so you know. It's not the same anymore. But I'm going to explain to you why all this happens, and we're going to find out all now. So now onto the history of the emoji. Before emojis, we had emoticons, which are basically a pictorial representation of facial expressions using text characters. The use of these over the last few decades has been a bit debated. For example, in this snippet from a 1648 poem...
A 1648?
1648.
Where'd you get that from?
The internet. Do you notice anything about this? Tumble me down and I will sit upon my ruins, smiling yet. It's already there.
Oh, the spelling is different.
No, not the spelling. Here, smiling yet. What's there?
There's a smile.
A little, you know when you sometimes send that on the side? Whether or not that was intentional is unknown. It looks more like he would have done a bracket. He could have just been ending a bracket.
No.
But
smiling yet. And there's
just
a
the fact
smiley
it says
face.
smiling yet, so it's still debated whether, even over the last few hundred years, we still don't know whether it was actually
Well, let me just clear this
intentional.
up. It was intentional, okay? I can see it was intentional because of the fact that why would you have a colon, then close the bracket? I mean, if you're going to say smiling yet,
grammar-
then do
an error while typing.
an error
I'm not-
that looks
you
like
know.
smiling and it says smiling yet. I doubt it.
Okay, so that
This was intentional.
Okay. Another example is in an 1862 issue of the New York Times. Check out what we have here. Now, this was the president's speech. I believe it was Abraham Lincoln at the time. And he says, "I believe there is no precedent for my appearing before you this occasion." Applause. "But it is also true that there is no precedent for you being here yourselves." Applause and laughter. And what do you notice right after?
It's a winking smile.
Applause and laughter, wink.
Yeah.
That is still debated.
No, it's
Okay.
not. Let me clear it up now.
It could have been a typo. Applause and laughter in brackets.
Another typo 200 years later.
Well,
with the
think
same
of how
sort
much
of
content
things.
is written. Every, year, so much books and stuff are written. There's got to be an error
But
somewhere
straight
in there.
after laughter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Look, there was an applause up there with the different
Okay.
colon thing,
Well,
and
it's
there
still
wasn't
debated.
a little thing
It
there.
is still debated.
Well, I'm not debating it. I'm just concluding it right now. That was intentional.
You also have these posted in 1881 in the US magazine Puck. But let's move forward to the use of emoticons in the computer world. See, these were like typographical art and stuff where you could use, with the keyboard and stuff to try and make some faces, but these didn't really catch on. So in 1882, a guy called Scott Thalman introduced the idea of using the smiley face and frown face created via text to distinguish between serious posts from jokes on message boards at the time. Now, in more modern times, though, we typically don't type the nose, but can you see? He says, "I
Yeah.
propose the following character for joke markers."
I was actually going to comment, is that supposed to be a nose type?
Yeah,
So,
so
okay.
that was back. Now, this is the first intentional use of like your little emoticon with text that's actually been marked. We should use this. You get what I mean? And that wasn't until the 80s. Shortly after in Japan, they started making what they call cow emojis, such as this original cow emoji in 1986. See that there?
Yeah.
That's a face, but it's upright.
Yeah.
See, it's not a sideways one. So Japan was a little bit more advanced with their little emoticons. They use Japanese typography in addition to ASCII face.
They can't do smiley face because that's not smiling, that's a line. And you don't get it.
That's a joy face because look, the eyebrows are up. It's still a face of joy.
No, it's not joy. To me, it's confusion.
They actually use Japanese typography in addition to ASCII characters to create more detailed faces the right way up rather than sideways.
Oh, there's a bird with a beak. See?
Yeah.
See?
Wow.
Tweeting.
Oh, there's a smiley one. Look, a face with a smile there and a face there.
How did they do that?
Japanese characters. So
they do have a
Japanese
smiley.
typography and stuff. So there you go.
Okay.
It's finally time for you to do something now rather than listening to me. You're going to do a little activity. Anyway, I'm going to give you your first activity now. Let's pretend it's the 80s. I want you to create some sideways and upright faces in DOS and give them some names. You'll only have access to the text characters on an English QWERTY keyboard, so this will be somewhat challenging without access to a wider range of characters.
Okay, so the sideways is pretty easy.
Yep, so show me a happy face. So type in the word first, happy and
or
face.
smiley. Now.
Well, that's a winking face.
No. Wait.
Great. So you got a smiley face. So let's see your sad face. What was that? That may give you an idea of the next one. Okay. So let's see if you can come up with 3 more faces.
Tongue out.
Okay. You're going well with your emoticon. So this is what it was like pretty much in the 80s. Most people were just making these little text-based emoticons. A wink with the tongue out. Okay.
Surprise. I'll make it an O.
Okay.
As opposed to a 0 to make the mouth.
Okay, yeah, so it's like, okay, can you do one more?
That could even be gorilla. Because it's a bit gorilla-like.
I know one. Well, you can't use this one now. It's a really happy face.
Oh, with the D.
Yeah, with the D. So you have to come up with a different one.
Oh, I know. Double tongue out.
How do you do a double tongue out?
Somebody that has 2 tongues.
I don't think anyone's going to use that one. Imagine if they made that an actual emoji. You can like Samir will talk about how you
Oh,
What?
another thing after the dentist. Because you know when you have a filling
Yeah.
and when you try to smile, then
Trying to smile.
And only one side's smiling because the other side's numb.
Okay. And you could have also have tried to do something like, I don't know, that kind of a face too.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. That's with little dashes and underscores and stuff. But anyway, there we go. So you were able to get creative. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so that's an alien face too?
Yes.
Yeah. Alien face. Okay, great.
Alien
the
face.
guy who actually came up with the idea of making these little, emoticons, because that's what they were called back then with the keyboard, he found it quite sad now that we've got emojis. He says people are less creative now. They just use emojis rather than coming up with ideas of how to make faces with a keyboard. Anyway, that's that now. So that's what it would have been like if you were trying to send people messages in the 80s. Obviously, you'd have to maybe explain a bit what those faces mean if they didn't really know. But yeah, that was the 80s experience of emoticons. So next up, a super important part of Emoji's history was the introduction of Unicode. Unicode is basically a universal standard that contains most of the world's writing standards, both modern and old. So if a machine supports Unicode, that means it can display characters, symbols, and emojis from a wide range of languages around the world, rather than just being limited to just the native language of the machine. Here's an example. We're now on a website called tistory.com. This website is a Korean website. And as you can see, what do I have here?
To me, it looks like hieroglyphics.
It's basically
very
Korean, like the language of Korean. So if you...
I must admit, it's very pretty.
Now, if I paste that, I can paste it. My machine has Unicode. You'd have to hope that we all have Unicode by now in the standards of time we're living in. But we can copy and paste Unicode and it can appear with our writing, okay? So without Unicode, if I visited this Korean website, the characters wouldn't display properly. But because Windows 11 supports Unicode, that means we can both view and even copy and paste these Korean characters.
And you could use these to do more pictures, more little symbols.
You sure could, yes. Without Unicode, this wouldn't be possible. Check this out. Someone asked on Quora, how would the world be different without unified character sets like Unicode? And someone talks about this. They say, I remember a world without Unicode. It was painful. My base system was using ASCII by default, and when I got an email from Chinese and Israeli contacts with local language characters, they don't render in the screen. It would have to switch character sets to see the other, but I could not get Chinese and Hebrew characters to render properly together. So he could almost like switch the language on the machine and it would just show that language, but then they wouldn't show them at the same time. I also recall an era where I needed to install an application or database. This person's saying, so I'm grateful for Unicode. So could you imagine a world now where we didn't have Unicode set up?
Well, for me, I'm not often doing something where I've got two different languages displayed in text.
Okay.
Work it out. So for me, it's not something I actually really think about.
Okay.
But I can see how it would be very useful for those that do use that sort of thing.
Okay. So you're probably wondering a little bit about Unicode. This is on Wikibooks, so we're going to learn just a little bit about Unicode 1.0. Now, this was the first version of Unicode released in 1991. It encoded 7,161 characters. You're probably thinking, what? How many characters are on the keyboard? How do you get 7,000 of them?
Wow.
Now, this was back in 1991. Now, remember, though, that the computer had to support Unicode. So just because in 1991 Unicode 1.0 was released as a standard, that was just a suggestion. It didn't mean that on this day, this particular day, every operating system and every computer magically supported Unicode the moment this was released. So basically, it was like a standard. They're saying, this is what we should do. And then other companies like Microsoft and Apple thought, oh, yeah, we should implement this on our computers or, over time. Before Unicode, though, it was a disaster. Anyway, so you're probably thinking, okay, 7,161 new characters. What are these characters in Unicode? Well, you had basic Latin, which was 128 characters. You had Hebrew with 52 characters, Arabic, all these different, so Thai, 92 characters. So all of these different languages, all together, currency symbols, stuff, math operators and stuff like that. So all of this stuff...
That's a lot of characters.
Yeah, all of this needed to be included in Unicode. Now, as time went on, more versions of Unicode were released, you see. So in 1992, there was a total of 28,000 characters in Unicode. So they just added 21,000 new characters to what was already quite large. And they talk about, all the characters they added and stuff. And then Unicode 1.1 came out.
Wow.
You see?
Okay.
And there was 34,000 characters here. Remember, we're not at
They're
emojis
just
yet.
making up all these new symbols and characters,
No,
or
just
these
more.
are in existence, but they're just making
No,
more of
these-
them available.
These had all been in existence.
Okay, they've
Like it's
been
just
in
they're adding, they're
existence
introducing.
forever. Yeah, I see.
They're introducing more.
I just thought that they decided, oh well, we don't have enough characters in our, in our English alphabet here. Let's just do more characters and symbols here.
So we currently now use Unicode 14 from September 2021, and it encodes 144,000 different characters. Do you know what it even has? These 144,000 characters covers 159 modern and historic scripts, as well as symbols and emojis that are also included as part of that. So, yes, because of Unicode, you can even write and display Egyptian hieroglyphics. Can you say it for me? I can't say it.
Hieroglyphics.
Yeah, those things. So you could say to somebody, we're gonna do this. No, sorry. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna get
We're going to get whipped.
Then we're gonna get a big pot, and
someone.
we'll sit down and put the baby in. Oh no, it's a whip. I thought it was a pot. Okay, we're gonna bend down, start dancing, get whipped, and then raise a baby.
Oh, no.
So you can see, but those are actual symbols used and stuff. Do you find that pretty interesting to know they used this back then? And we can now, if there was an Egyptian living today, they could be just writing in their language and stuff. They could use all this. It's pretty insane, isn't it? Okay.
Some of those symbols, you wonder what on earth they mean.
Yeah, I know. You wonder what these all mean. There's quite a lot there. So now we're going to move.
What's that man doing holding two giraffe necks?
I have no idea what that means.
No, the one next to it.
This one.
Holding two giraffe necks. Who goes around holding two giraffe necks?
I have no idea.
That's not an everyday occurrence.
Yeah. Now we're going to move on to Emojipedia, which is a great website for learning about all emojis currently in existence across a wide range of platforms, and even emojis that don't even exist right now, but will exist in a year or two from now.
But how
do you
they
know what emojis are going to exist in the future?
Yeah.
I'll get onto that later in the video. We're learning a lot of emojis in this video.
Is it just assuming there's going to be some, or they know there's going to be?
It's planned.
But then if they know there's going to be more emojis,
I'm going to explain how that works.
Why aren't they around now?
I'll explain how that works later on, okay? So basically, Unicode 1.0 had predated emoji inclusion 17 years before Unicode 6.0 was released in 2010, which is when emojis were officially included in Unicode. Now, this is a list of all the emojis that were included back in 1993 in Unicode. Now, they weren't emojis back then. Okay, this is just the predating of them. So you had the smiley face, the frowning face, skull and crossbones, but they didn't look like this. The reason they're showing like this right now is because it shows what they look like in Windows 11. If you visited this website on your iPhone, it would show all the iPhone versions of these emojis. So it shows you the version based on what machine you're on now. So all of these actually were included. They were predated emoji inclusion in Unicode 1.0. This was before these were standard, you know what I mean? So people could actually use these little symbols on the computer, but only if the operating system supported them too, okay? So there was quite a lot here, as you can see.
Yeah, there are.
Okay, but it's still, emojis weren't standard yet. But anyway, you can see here that there's a happy face and a frowning face. There's no other faces that were a part of the Unicode standard back then. That's it. So
there's no surprise. There's no silliness.
Yeah,
Crazy.
there's lots of objects here, like a snowman and a cloud and stuff.
Yeah, no surprise, no joy.
Yeah, so activity 2 now. Using characters from the Wingding fonts in Microsoft Word 6.0a in Windows NT 3.1 from 1993. Can you just write a couple of sentences? Basically, you're almost using some emojis here. This actually did support Unicode, this system. Okay, this is Windows NT 3.1. But what you're using aren't actually emojis. So this is a little test I did here just to test out what it was like trying to you do this kind of thing back in 1993. This is the experience. I wrote, sometimes I feel happy, but other times I feel sad because, well, some bloody operating systems can be really tough to install. I think I spent 2 days trying to install this operating system.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now at 3 p.m. on Monday, I finally got Windows
3, 2.
Oh, yeah, it's at 2 p.m. Yeah, it was. No, it was 2 p.m. on Monday. I remember it was 2 p.m. on Monday. I finally got Windows NT 3.1 running. I love the internet. So that was an example of using emojis. They're not emojis, though. Do you know what these are? You probably think, wait, aren't those, Unicode 1.0 emojis? What you're seeing here is another example of emojis before emojis were official. So these are actually characters from the Wingdings font, which was originally released by Microsoft in 1990. It's basically a true type dingbat font that renders letters. Yeah, that renders letters as a variety of symbols. So it's like a font that includes symbols in it, like facial expressions, things like that, okay? So this is not official emoji. This is not cross-compatible, okay?
Yeah,
so if you copied this into an email to someone, it might not display, or into another program it might not display. You want to copy it into something?
I do, actually.
Well, let's test it out by copying accessories.
Wish it could be texted to me to see what it looks like.
Let's do it in Notepad. Yeah. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and paste. Sometimes I feel J, but other times I can feel L, because while some bloody operating systems can be really hard. At nothing on Monday, I finally got Windows I copyright the internet. Yeah, it says I copyright. It's in the copyright symbol.
Oh, okay.
See how it's not cross-compatible? So this was pre-Unicode. Like, this operating system supported Unicode, but I wasn't really using Unicode right here in what I was doing. It just goes to show that Unicode is important, because otherwise you get these kinds of situations happening, okay? And although Windows did support Unicode, I wasn't using it. So you should use it, okay? So this actual font here that you're looking at that can do this, it was included in all versions of Windows from 3.1 all the way to Windows Vista. But now that we actually have emojis, it's completely pointless. This font isn't included after Vista. We have
you can use so many more.
Yeah, and they're cross-compatible.
Yeah,
it's not just like for one program and stuff like that. Anyway, so I'm going to get you to write now, new document, and I'm going to
using this.
Yeah, using this. This is your next activity. Start writing something. Let's try and use a few of these symbols in this. Go ahead.
Okay.
What about write? Do you want to find something?
So maybe like a pen
symbol for write. Yep. Okay. So we're going to remember what we're doing now. This is not emojis yet. We're not in the time where emojis were standard and using. Yeah. We're going to insert a symbol. And what we've got here is the Wingdings font, okay? The Wingdings font. So this is just a font, and you can see all various different images here. Do you remember that none of these were actually mapped to Unicode, even though some of them represent some Unicode symbols? So the Wingdings font was separate to Unicode. However, symbols from Wingdings and Webdings were added to Unicode much later in Unicode 7.
These dings in Dingbat.
Some of these were actually added to Unicode much later in Unicode 7.0 from 2014. This just goes to show that although emojis are strongly tied to modern versions of Unicode today, back then there were a bunch of separate, ununified emoji-like systems that didn't work together.
I think the first one looks like a pen or
that looks like a pencil or something. That's right.
So that's probably the one I would choose. Pity there's not like a paper with a pen on it or a hand holding a pen.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, I'm going to set you free now. So anyway, here we are with the activity. Just try and use some Wingding symbols in some sentences.
Okay. Well, do I drag?
No. You just click the insert button. So you click on it, then insert. There you go. I will start to write something now.
Yeah, okay. That works.
Click on 3 emojis, insert them here, and then you can move them around on the page.
Okay.
And put them in a sentence. So what are you going to use? An aeroplane? Insert. And get some more. Yup. What's that?
I actually don't know.
Maybe use things that you know what they are. Just so...
No, they make it more fun.
Okay. Insert. Okay. So you can close that now. Just
maybe one more.
Okay. It looks like a hand punching someone.
No, that's perfect.
Okay. I will start to write something now. Now, how are you going to use those in a sentence?
That's going to be very
interesting.
See
if you can use that all in one sentence. This is a challenge. Use all those symbols in a single sentence. You can't use full stop. Okay, here we go. I want to... cut.
How do I cut that?
So what we'll
cut
do
the cut.
Is, I think if we just copy Control X and then Control V. Control X and V. So highlight it and then Control. I want to cut to the chase and tell you are.
I want to get this one perfect.
So Control X, and where are you going to put it? Until you are perfect. The perfect plane. Tell you the perfect plane.
Yeah, tell you the perfect plane that, as in the plane,
I'd say tell you
aeroplane.
about the perfect plane.
Cut to the chase and tell you the perfect plane that carried my then letter.
I don't know how you're going to use these last two, though.
Neither do I. That's what's going to make it interesting. Carried my
letter.
What is that last?
That looks like an anchor to me.
No, I know the anchor, but faster. An anchor kind of symbolises a boat.
Faster than an anchored boat. I don't know.
That's a good thing. Faster than an anchored ship. I'm going to have to make up what that symbol
flower
with it's sail.
There you done.
Do ships have sails? Isn't it boats that have sails?
I don't know.
I'm going to just change that. I'm going to actually change that to a boat. Just in case. To a boat with a symbol.
Okay, you've done
sail. But I haven't said what the perfect plane was.
Okay, what's it called?
Then I'll just put comma.
It's a bird or something?
It's...
Okay.
There we go. Well, I used
Can I just say, that makes Qantas pretty low down.
I know, because
Qantas
it's an anchored boat.
It's faster than an anchored boat. An anchored boat's not going to take you anywhere.
I know, but any plane would be faster.
So that was like Qantas, like Queensland and Northern Territory Australian airport service. I don't know. I should know it. I'm Australian, what that stands for. You made them sound bad.
Well, it's still saying that it was the perfect plane.
Okay.
So
if you were, I guess, writing a Microsoft Word document to someone and they had the same version of Microsoft Word...
take me longer with the symbols.
But do you think it added a personal flair to it?
Yeah, it did.
Would you have used that back then in the 90s?
Maybe, just as little...
Yeah.
I don't know, being creative. Okay. And you were curious to see how I'd use all of those in the one sentence, and I did. Yep. Even this funny symbol thing, I didn't even know what it is.
Okay, so now that we've seen a bit of the stuff you did before emojis were actually in existence, let's actually move forward to the early use of emoji on phones in 1997 on the JPhone JP211SW. Now what you're seeing here is the first emoji set. There are 90 monochrome images here to represent various objects and expressions. Once again though, these predated the official inclusion of emojis in Unicode, so they were not cross-compatible across like various phone services and computers. But if you both had a JPhone, which was in Japan, you could send these emojis to each other in text messages. Mm-hmm. How cool is that? So you can recognize what a lot of those are, can't you?
Yeah, of course.
They're very low resolution though. They're not really that great. What do you think of their happy faces and stuff?
I'm just trying to think.
They look like an onion to me.
Is that a fresh...
Oh, that's the poo emoji.
Done. Well, that's what I thought it was. Now,
yeah, pile of poo emoji.
Why would somebody want to be talking about a pile of poo? That's obviously freshly done and it's all steaming in the head.
Emojipedia tells you,
coming out of...
they actually tell you about pile of poo, like how you could use each emoji. So a swirl of brown poop, shaped like soft serve ice cream with large excited eyes and a big friendly smile. May be used to represent feces and other bathroom topics, as well as stand in for their many related slang terms. It also enjoys a wide range of that word that I can't say on camera right now because I haven't Googled it.
Idiosyncratic.
Such as conveying a sense of whimsy or silliness, given its fun, happy expression. Microsoft and Google previously depicted a literal pile of feces. Google's design featured stinking lions and flies hovering above it.
I have no idea why it needs to actually have a happy face on it. I mean, I can understand the...
Yeah, I know, it's just I don't know where it came.
Or smell or whatever, but a happy face on it?
Yeah, so that was back then. Remember though, that back then, all of these, what you're seeing here, you put your cursor over it, smiling face with smiling eyes and stuff. These actually didn't have set names and weren't a part of the official Unicode or emoji thing. It's just they just happened to resemble a lot of the emojis we have today. Okay, but it wasn't planned to be a part of any emoji things today. By the way, this is what the actual JPhone looks like, and you can see someone there has used this emoji of the whale. See that whale emoji? And it's there among all the Japanese texts. So that's actually what that looked like back then in the 90s. Moving forward to 1999 now.
Oh, so we've gone from 90 to 263.
Yes, so the emojis really expanded out, and we've got coloured animated emojis.
Oh, and they're moving too, yeah.
They're moving, they're colourful, they're animated. Well, some of them are, not all of them are. Like,
well, technically that's good because of the fact that the current emojis we use aren't animated.
Depends on what platform you're using them on.
I guess so.
Some are
the ones
animated.
on my iPhone don't.
No, Apple's not really into animating their they've got their Animojis, but we'll get to that later as well. Okay, so in 1999, the J-phone emoji set, now known as the SoftBank set, was expanded from 90 emojis to 263 emojis, which are now all in color, and some even animated. Emojipedia has gone ahead and actually associated each of these images with their Unicode equivalent emoji today, even though none of them were actually technically meant to be a part of it. Anyway, these emoji sets from J-phone / SoftBank continue to be expanded upon and, improved over time. So MSN Messenger, which was an instant messaging service, existed as early as 1999 in the form of MSN Messenger 1.0. Later on, though, in 2003, version 6.0 was released, which introduced little emoji-like pictures that were labeled as emoticons. So let's chat together now using these little emoticons in our sentences. So you're back here with Windows XP, and you're in 2003. Just before we continue, back when I was setting up this modified MSN 6 client, I was having some difficulties logging in and went to the Escargo Discord for help. And like usual, I can't go anywhere without being recognized as OSFirstTimer, no matter how low-key I try to appear, using my alternative Astral Phaser name. Anyway, just thought I'd show some of those reactions to my appearance on the Escargo Discord for a bit of fun, and if you were there that day, you may even see your name in this video. Anyway, back to the emoji video now. Messaging me with MSN Messenger 6.2. Say something, but use a face in it. This is your next little activity, to have a little conversation with me. Chat using emoticons within MSN Messenger 6 from 2003. I'm feeling pretty. Oh, could not be delivered. Why not? It's not working properly, unfortunately, but I could reply. I was going to reply in my own machine and have it like back and forth, but it's not working, so I'll just reply like this. So I might reply as, "That's great, let's have some cake." And what do you notice? The little cake flickering candles, and it's animated, you see. And what would you reply to that? Let's do one more reply.
Okay, well...
Okay, great. Now,
love cake, and I'd love to do that.
Just the way that this works is you're supposed to be messaging me, I'm supposed to be messaging you.
Back.
But we get the picture. This is how it works. I just having some computer glitches here. You're probably thinking it feels like emojis are standard now. Like, it's literally on the computer, we're messaging each other. Don't they feel standard? Well, no, it's actually not the case. They aren't actually an official part of Unicode yet, so there isn't really any cross-compatibility. For example, let's copy and paste this. Let's paste that straight into Google, and what happens? That's great, let's have some cake, and it's not there. It doesn't copy the symbols.
No.
Okay? So these, once again, because it's not a part of Unicode, they are not cross-compatible. You can see that these emoticons can't leave MSN. They're stuck there like a dead pixel on a faulty monitor. Anyway, in 2004, Skype added some really cool animated emojis to its instant messaging service. And in my opinion, these are way better than what MSN brought a year earlier. Do you think these 2004 emojis on Skype are better than MSN's emojis? These are brilliant. Now, as you can see here, they did 63 emojis, so because they were so animated, they couldn't go ahead and make so many of these. These are pretty interesting emojis, but once again, emojis aren't a thing yet. This is emojis before emojis actually existed. They're not a part of Unicode, and they were referred to as emoticons, even back then in 2004.
When you think about it, emojis are just become so popular now. One of Jazzy's books is covered with an emoji paper thing. Also, I've got some chips in the freezer, these little like mashed potato, and they're coated, and they're actual emojis. Go and have a look if we've got them in the fridge.
Okay.
In the freezer. McCain emoji bites.
So yeah, that's what we sometimes have. A dinner time.
Didn't have any in the freezer at the moment because we must have eaten them.
So yeah, but there's even an emoji movie. Have a quick look.
What's he doing? He's making the wrong face. Welcome to the world inside your phone, where everyone is expected to act one way their whole life.
Aw, snap! Ow.
My name is Gene, and I'm supposed to be a meh. You know, like, meh, who cares? But my problem is, I have more than one emotion.
Check this out.
Huh?
Son, please tell me you weren't laughing just now. What if you get sent out on the phone making the wrong face?
Dad, I'll make the right face. Then I would finally fit in.
So basically it's about this emoji that he's supposed to be the meh emoji, but he can make all different faces, and as people are texting, because he's got that wrong emoji, he might make the wrong faces and stuff. So it's an emoji trying to stay with the one face when he can do all different faces, okay? So emojis have really become a part of our world now, but we need to jump back to 2004. Emojis at this point still weren't standard, okay? So for example, here you can see what looks like the yawning face emoji in 2004. But if we actually... I know it makes you want to yawn looking at it. Now, if we actually see the yawning face does exist now, but did you know the yawning face wasn't added to Unicode until...
Sorry to just...
2019.
Oh my goodness.
So... that was well ahead of its time, including a yawning face in 2004 when it wasn't actually a part of Unicode until 2019. So
then they don't add it till 2019.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so that was very far ahead of its time. Back then, like, we couldn't actually copy and paste that from Skype. If you're in Skype right now, couldn't copy and paste that into an email and it would be there yawning and stuff. Oh, and just so you can get a sense of technological progression, this is what the Skype emojis look like in 2015. They're much more improved. See the faces, the animation, the smooth, they're not pixelated anymore. See how much better they look, and look how many there are now in 2015. Instead of 60 of them, I think it was, 1,650 emojis.
Wow.
So Skype has really expanded the resolution and the amount of emojis. Even like a vomit emoji here that's
I like the
disgusting.
cold one, the freezing.
Yeah. I actually think
so cute.
I actually think that these emojis being animated just brings so much more to the table.
It actually
Don't
does.
you think it's important to have these? Like,
it
just... like a clap. Like, how do you do a clap emoji without... You know what I mean?
Look at the rude symbol emoji.
But yeah, there we go. Okay, so not all of Skype's ones were animated, but there were quite a few, you know, animated ones. But this is 2015. We've jumped ahead right now, okay? We're way too far ahead. Okay, so you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sick of these emojis not being standardized now. They're all platform to platform. You can't copy and paste them. When did it become standard? 2010. 2010 was a very important time because that's when Unicode 6.0 was released. And it was the first version of the Unicode standard to support emoji. And these were the emojis that Unicode 6.0 came with. So let's have a little quick look at some of the emojis we had. We had the grinning face with big eyes, face with a medical mask, fearful face. See, there were a lot of faces. This is all, I don't even know what a persevering face. Okay, a disappointed face. They're pretty good, aren't they? But remember, these are emojis from Windows 11 here, what you're seeing. These aren't the emojis that they appeared in originally, you know, because it depended what platform.
The enraged face and how different it is to the angry face. Like, it's almost going to explode. It's red.
Yeah, so as you can see here, and I'll just...
the pile of poo makes its appearance again.
A lot of hand symbols here. Now, you'll notice here, there are quite a few animals here. See all these animals?
Yeah.
But there's also
plenty and even a nose of an animal, a pig nose.
There are actually plenty of missing ones too. For example, there's no fly or raccoon or llama or hippo or kangaroo or swan or peacock or parrot or mosquito and so on. Those emojis all exist now, but they didn't exist back then in 2010. That's why year after year, there are more emojis that are added, and they always find something new to add, whether it's a new facial expression, a new kind of food, a new animal. There's always something in this world that doesn't have an emoji. And then, if it's relevant enough, they'll just add it to Unicode. And later on in this video, I'll briefly discuss that process and how emojis actually get added and approved. Also note that with iPhone, emojis were available in 2008 in Japan only. So if you had an iPhone, you could do emojis and stuff, but only if you're in Japan.
The French fries look like...
But then,
ones.
in 2011, that's when iPhones brought it over to all countries, okay? So after Unicode 6.0, we'll just... it'll go on forever. There was a lot of So after Unicode 6.0, the next release was Unicode 6.1. Now this was a really small update. They just added some faces. They're like, oh, we don't have a grinning face, we don't have a kissing face, or a face with a tongue sticking out, or an expressionless face, or a sleepy face. We don't have all these faces, so we should add them. And so anyway, that was a very small update. They didn't really add much in Emoji 6.1. With emojis now officially included in Unicode, this meant that companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, and so on were now able to produce their own emoji images in future operating systems and software that may not look identical to each other, but would be cross-compatible with each other. Now, this didn't occur the moment Unicode 6.0 was released in October 2010. It was like a slow transition. It took time for these emojis to be created. The companies were like, oh, crud, I've got to now create all these different emojis that you've just said, and so they've got to make them all. So it took some time for them to be implemented by each company. So let's skip forward now to 2012 to see this cross-compatibility in action. So your next activity now is to use Windows 8 and macOS Mountain Lion to send a cross-compatible emoji using a .txt file. So what we're going to do is in Windows 8, we're going to open a program called Notepad, and I want you to write a little message in here with just 3 emojis, just one really short sentence with 3 emojis. Now what we're going to do on Windows 8, we're going to just bring up down here, this is the touch keyboard, and this touch keyboard has some emojis on it. So you can insert straight into there some emojis. What are some emojis that you want to use in this little message? Just come up with a quick message. Okay, so that's your message. Just before we continue, what do you notice about this? These emojis, how do you think they look?
They're not that interesting.
They're not that interesting. These were Microsoft's first emojis. Emojis were only introduced in 2012.
There's no colour in them.
It was in Windows 8.
Yeah.
Back in Windows 8, this is what the emojis looked like. So this is the Microsoft Windows 8.0 set. There was 918 emojis here, and they were just black and white images of emojis. That was what it looked like in Windows 8. It looks different now. In fact, in Windows 8.1, so by Windows 8.1, just 1 year later, they made them all color emojis.
They made them proper emojis. Like
it was much better. Color emojis were better.
These
should have been the first for Windows.
No, these have a right to be called emojis.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because this is how I picture an emoji. Like if I'm thinking an emoji, this is what comes to my mind, not the other thing.
Do you feel weird though, knowing that back in 2011, for example, and with Windows 7 and all of that, there was no emoji support. Does that feel weird? No, but now,
it's just such a common thing.
Yeah. So, okay, here we go. Let's write a little message with this. What are you going to write? So you're going to write one sentence with these. And this is a text file. You're going to send it to a Mac and show that the Mac can read this. So I woke up feeling disgusting, but after having breakfast, I don't know what that emoji means. I'm just guessing it means disgusting. But after having breakfast, I felt down, a bit sad. Then after a chocolat, I was back. Odd spelling of chocolate.
Oh, no.
I was back to my happy self. So we're going to save that now as a little text file. So what you've got to make sure to do is we want to save it as, we don't want it to just be this. We want to make sure it's got Unicode.
Oh, okay.
And because these are a part of Unicode, that means these will be able to be saved. Okay, so we're saving it as a little test message. And now you're going to email it. So we're not going to do it like this. There is a way you could do this email. So you could do an email where you copy and paste this right in. Okay, but watch what happens. As soon as we copied and pasted this in...
It becomes real emojis.
Well, these are real emojis. Don't forget they're real emojis.
I know.
They were just poorly designed in Windows 8. So basically what happened now, the moment you copied this into Gmail, Gmail's web interface overrides the system's default emojis. So when you're using Gmail here in Windows 8 or Windows 11, any version of Windows or even on a Mac, your emojis are instead... It doesn't use its Windows emojis, it actually uses Google's emojis instead. So these are Google Noto's color emojis. These emojis here are actually included on most Android devices, Gmail's web interface and Google Meet and Chrome OS. And I'll give you an example of this, how this works again here. Over here we've got heart hands. I can see the red heart and stuff, but heart hands I can't see.
Yes.
That's because Windows 11 hasn't yet got the heart hands emojis drawn yet.
Oh, okay.
So if I copy that, so I'm on Windows 11 now.
Yes.
And I go into Gmail, and let's say here I paste directly into here what are you seeing? It's got the heart hands. Even though my Windows 11 can't display it into Notepad or anything, on the website, it appears like this, heart hands, red, so you can't see it. So because Gmail overrides it, even though Windows 11 can't display it, I'm able to see it anyway.
Yes.
And that just goes to show how great cross-compatibility is.
And isn't it funny how you got another little emoji there?
That's
which
Grammarly.
is part of Grammarly.
Yeah.
And they're using, everybody's using emojis these days.
So instead of sending it like this, because if you send it like this, think what's going to happen is when you send it to a Mac operating system, it's going to also display these on Mac. So we want to get rid of the risk of this.
In the Apple format.
No, because on a Mac, it'll be in Gmail, appearing still in Google's thing, because remember, it overrides whatever operating system you're using.
I get
so we're actually going to send the actual text file straight to a Mac, so nothing can be touched, okay? So let's go into Documents. Here's the little test message. So here it is, the text file, and I'm going to drag that in. We're sending the email now. Now, they can't do anything to the emojis within this text file. You'll agree with that. So let's open that now on a Mac. Okay, it's sent. So unfortunately in Mac, it's all flickering and stuff. It has a lot of trouble trying to support this. See how everything's flickering?
Yeah.
See, it says this version of Chrome's no longer supported. Upgrade to it. So we're getting a little bit old-fashioned here, and things aren't quite as compatible. But I'm dragging this out of the email straight there. Okay, so we're on macOS Mountain Lion from 2012 now as well. And if we open this message that we sent from Windows to here, so we'll just make the font a bit larger, and you can see there it is.
Oh, it made it into the Apple.
The Apple ones, and you recognise those.
I recognise
really
those
well
because they're exactly what I've got in my iPhone. Yeah.
So as you can see, being here in 2012, this is when, you know, Windows and Apple and stuff, with cross-compatibility, you could send emojis to each other. So we're actually finally... Emojis are becoming standard now.
Yeah, I see.
Across multiple devices, you can see from a Windows 8 device. They may not look the same, but there you go. So Apple.
But isn't that funny? Because I must admit, I always thought, because I send a lot of emojis. Like when I'm sending text messages, I will send an emoji, and in Facebook too. Oh, but that's
Facebook uses their own emoji systems
I know,
too.
but I use emojis in Facebook too, in Messenger.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, in my phone, I always thought when I was sending text messages and I was sending emojis, I always thought that the person on the other end was going to get that exact same emoji.
Yeah.
But now I know only if they've got an iPhone are they getting the exact same, but if they've got an Android, they're getting something
If they've got
different.
a Samsung Android phone, that appears different to normal Google phones that aren't Android. So there's even more separation there as well.
Many different. But you'd get the general gist of...
You do get the general gist of it.
Because
those are the same
becoming
emojis.
so standard.
Because of Unicode. Yeah, without Unicode, emojis wouldn't be cross-compatible.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, if you thought those 900 and something emojis from Windows 8 was a lot...
3,685.
Yeah, so Google's Nodo Color emoji set, which is what Gmail uses, has 3,685 emojis, and that's from 2021. Every year, they're adding more and more emojis. This is just this particular emoji set, okay? So if you went through and you looked at all their emojis, they've got so many different variations and emojis that need to load, you know, to incorporate so many different people here. So yeah, they're growing so huge now that I wouldn't be surprised that if by 2040, there were well over 10,000 emojis in a standard set. So anyway, let's find out a little bit more about how emojis kept being added over time. So moving away from 2012, we're on 2014 now. This is Unicode version 7.0. Now, they added 250 new characters in Unicode, that, like for emojis, basically, but they were actually reduced to 103 standard additions, which were included below. So the other characters that were suggested, because there was 250 but it was cut down, they are a part of Unicode, but they're not recommended to be used as emojis. Okay? So I'll show you what we've got here.
Do they have the non-recommended list?
They do.
Yeah. I just want to see why they were rejected.
So some of the things they did add that were accepted was in Unicode, a slightly smiling face and a slightly frowning. You know, sometimes you don't want to be as extreme and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a story a bit later. One of your favourite emojis was added in here, and I'll tell you the story about that a little bit later. Her favourite variant of this emoji didn't exist in 2014. and I'll discuss a little bit later. But look,
Why is that my favourite emoji?
well, you probably don't remember, but I'll tell the story to everyone a little bit later about why.
Do I
not
want
that
story
not that
told?
emoji.
I don't even remember the story.
You do want that story.
I want
So these were
it
the ones that were accepted. Now suddenly we've gotten to the ones that weren't accepted. So these were just accepted as little pictorial little
fax icon. I can understand why that's not accepted.
Yeah.
I mean, who faxes
See,
these
old personal computer and stuff. So these were instead included as Unicode.
White telephone, touch.
Included as Unicode as just little pictorial symbols, but not quite proper emojis.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? So that's what, these were. One thing to note, though, for example, is that let's take this lips one here. This wasn't told to be, a standard emoji, but, so these lips, as you can see, this Unicode character has no emoji version, meaning this is intended to display only as a black and white or GLIMF on most platforms. But Samsung went ahead and just made an emoji for it.
Oh, okay.
LG went ahead and made them, but they're the only
I like
ones.
the Samsung better.
So if if a Samsung phone, if I sent that to you, it's not there's no Apple version of it.
Yeah, I see.
So
what would I get on my phone?
Probably this version, like something similar
Just
to that, a little black and white version, because it's not, fully approved. So they went ahead and made it even though they weren't told to. And that happens sometimes. Next up, we have Unicode 8.0. From 2015. This one not only added some important new facial expressions, so you can see various new face expressions.
Money mouth face. I love that. And the tongue coming out, and it's a note.
Yeah. But it also added 5 different skin tones. Okay, so you'll see them in action soon, but these were the skin tones: light, medium light, and all of these, and medium dark and dark skin tone. And there were also some more animals added, as well as a mythical unicorn. So it's interesting they had a unicorn emoji. So the next hugely important moment in emojis history was the official introduction of Emoji version 1.0. And you're thinking, wait a sec, what's this Emoji 1.0? Now that's basically this emoji documentation specifically focused on emojis. See, it includes all the approved emojis between 2010 and 2015. So this is now, it's like a Unicode, but it just specifies emojis. So when you're looking through the documentation, you don't have to look through all the other stuff in Unicode. It's just, this is basically emoji focused. So it basically includes all the emojis from Unicode 6, 6.1, 7.0, and 8.0 that were recommended for emoji presentation. Okay? And the thing is, until this release, no major vendors actually supported emojis from Unicode 7.0 or above. So all those new emojis you just saw added, most were just ignoring them and they weren't actually adding them to their systems. So that's why we came up with the whole Emoji 1.0, saying, come on, we gotta keep up to date with all these emojis. So basically all the emojis here are all the emojis from Unicode 6.1, 7.0, 8.0, all together in 1.0, okay? So this is like they had an emoji data. This is actually what comes from unicode.org, Emoji 1.0, when it actually shows you here all the faces and all the things that are being included. It's a documentation that tells all the companies and stuff, this is the emojis that you need to be including and stuff like that, okay? So that's what Emoji 1.0 was. So then Emoji 2.0 was next, and this one was super important as it was all about specifying which emojis were recommended for skin tone modifier support. So emojis are generally associated with yellow skin, but finally now with Emoji 2.0, if you have a great looking medium skin tone, you can use, for example, this emoji here, right? If you have a beautiful dark skin tone, you can use this emoji to wave. And now that brings me to the story of Diana's favourite emoji when it was first released. So Jasmine would ask me, can we have pizza? Can we have pizza tonight? So I'd text Mum and ask her, can we have pizza? And then she would reply to me with that emoji. That's what she'd use. No words, no nothing, just a dark skin toned middle finger emoji. Can we have pizza tonight? And that's what I'd get in return.
I vaguely remember.
Now I'm pretty sure
that, but I don't know what was on my mind.
I'm pretty sure based on your skin tone, you'd use one of those two.
Probably.
I'm pretty sure because I don't see you as this. It's a great skin colour, but you don't have that. I'm sorry.
No.
Can you please explain to me all these years later now? I'm still wondering. I'm wondering, did you identify as someone who's
No.
dark skin?
I vaguely remember doing that.
Okay. This was around when it was first added.
I wanted to do something that you wouldn't have expected and something.
But you continued to do it, and I expected
because I thought it was really
for for a whole year.
I thought it was really funny the
Okay.
first time I did it, and I just thought I'd just continue doing it. So I was consistent with my parenting to you. So there you go.
So anyways, they're releasing new versions of emoji 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and they just keep on adding more emojis to it. And it's not linked. You don't have to like kind of look through Unicode as well to see emojis. It's just all within its own thing. So anyways, we scroll down now. You can see various other emojis using this new skin color variety, as well as some actual job roles. Let's actually come down to, they've got some jobs down here. Do you like all the diversity now in emojis? You know, different kind of men and women and stuff with an old man, you know, and stuff, but with all the different skin tones.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. And even just gesturings and stuff like that, like a tipping hand and stuff. And now even police officers. See, all the different skin tones for them. Detectives, a guard, a construction worker. So they're trying to be really inclusive of all the different races out there. You see?
That's good.
People riding a bike. Now at the bottom, as soon as we go past the person taking the bath, we've reached all...
The person taking a bath.
Yeah, the person taking the bath emoji.
Oh, yeah, there is too.
Now at the bottom here of Emoji 2.0, you can see the emoji ZWJ sequences, which is basically a combination of multiple emojis, which displays a single emoji. So you can have various varieties of, people who can kiss each other, various different types of family groups. See, here's a man, woman with a boy, or a man and woman with a girl. Now they've got one boy and one girl, now they've got two boys, now they've got two girls. So that's basically different various types of family groups and stuff like that. But what's missing here? Do you notice something missing with these family groups? What kind of family is missing?
Well, families that actually have more children than two.
Yeah. Something very important though. We're just talking about skin tones.
Oh, that's right.
That's all they got. They're showing.
It's
so
just
whether
like lighter skinned people, the only ones the family.
they're yellow.
But
those are yellow skins.
they're even
but
yellow.
Because they're yellow,
but it does imply lighter skin.
it definitely does. So
Yeah, they don't have the other.
if we look at how
races.
each company shows this, Apple, light skinned family or a dark skinned
you'd
family,
think it was light.
they're all
Light
showing like this, no matter which company it is, whether it's Twitter or Facebook. I mean,
look at Microsoft Teams.
Microsoft Teams is my favorite
right.
emoji set. I love every one of they've got so many fantastic 3D looking emojis, and Skype does a really good job too. But they're light skin tone people. And if dark skin tone people are sending the family emoji, it looks like this.
Yeah,
It's not inclusive.
No, it's not.
And even interracial. So even if you had like a darker family here, what about, the children, they've adopted some children of different colours.
And they're, exactly. Or you might have a dark skinned man.
Now, this was back in Emoji 2.0. So this is, we're talking all the way back in 2015. Do you think this is fixed now? Have they changed this up?
I should hope so, but they probably haven't, have they?
It's still a problem to this day.
Oh, okay.
This is an emoji called Family Type 6, okay? It combines family with a dark skin tone. This skin tone variation has not been recommended for general exchange by Unicode. So Samsung have gone ahead anyway and said, no, let's give these families who, have this skin tone an option. Microsoft
have done it
Twitter have done it, Facebook, a few, Apple haven't.
Oh, okay.
Because of course it's not a part of Unicode. If it's not a part of Unicode, they don't have to. But they're allowed to if they want to, okay?
I personally think they should.
But yeah, that's the thing. It's not a part of Unicode. So they're more than welcome to make them if they want. But then if you've got a Samsung phone and you send that to someone with an Apple phone, they're not going to see it.
Will they get the yellow version?
I actually don't know what they'd get. You'd have to test that out.
Test it out. Send it to me now.
So I just sent it to you with Dad's phone. I sent you the dark family emoji and it comes up like that on an Apple phone.
Yeah.
So if Apple did support it in future, that would be great, but at the moment they don't. And I'll tell you one of the problems we've got here with doing this. This is an article called On Families and Equality, and it's on Emojipedia. It was written in 2020. And they're talking about whether you're a light skin tone family or a dark skin tone family, you're both having to use pretty much the same one. And I feel it does really resemble more like this.
I feel that too. Even though it's yellow and not actually.
So they did end up releasing hand-holding emoji where various people can hold hands with different skin tones, which is great for the hand-holding emoji. The problem with families, we've got all these families here, but none of them have a change of skin tone option on most platforms. So yeah, you can't have a uniform color, different colors, or even an interracial family. That's just, a mock-up they've done here to see what should exist. Now, what is the problem? There was 100 combinations of people holding hands. It was quite a lot. These 26 different family emojis here, to have all these variations, there was a 2019 proposal where they were saying, how about we do add it to Unicode? They assessed the option and it said to actually have all the mix of skin tones and stuff in the family, this 2019 proposal said there would need to be 7,230 new emojis required to allow families to have the same flexibility afforded to the couples holding hands. That is a lot of emojis to all the different ones.
How?
That's how many variations. Think you
Well,
would
at least put a few of them in. I mean, rather than not
Yeah.
having, at least some in, some is better than none.
Yeah, so just at least have
Surely.
some dark skin tone families,
families.
but not the interracial ones.
I guess they don't need to have that, but they can if they, well, maybe have a few. I think they should have a few anyway.
Yeah, well,
Because that would apply to,
that's
to
how
certain
many they
people.
would need to have, okay? In the end, after getting that proposal of adding these new emojis, do you know what they ended up deciding at the very end?
What?
In the end, the recommendation was chosen, the status quo. Just have the yellow set of families just as they appear today. So it was completely, just keep the yellows.
I think
Don't
that's
go
wrong.
on. That was the decision that they made at the end. Facebook's gone ahead themselves and see they have various different family tones and everything.
Okay.
With theirs. But no.
Oh, they've even got single mums and
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
But the recommendation is Unicode and, emoji and all of that. They just decided, let's not force, if companies want to do it, they can, but we're not going to add it to Unicode,
Mm-hmm.
okay? It needs to be added to Unicode for it to be cross-compatible. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know what I
understand
mean?
what you're saying.
So it's only slightly, I guess, cross-compatible.
I think Unicode should have added it in.
Yeah.
Personally.
And another thing, do you know what Microsoft did? They released their Windows 10 anniversary update, which included a bunch of emojis. Now, this version of Windows included over 52,000 new emojis. When all the family combinations were taken into
Oh my
account.
gosh.
That's right, 52,000. So they went ahead and did all these family combinations. Microsoft were like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to include them all. So Microsoft went ahead and did it. And you can see how many
They've
emojis.
even got the interracial and everything.
Yup,
Yeah.
with all different combinations of different families and stuff. Theirs looked like that, but there was, 52,000 new
Yeah.
emojis in that update. So you can imagine how how many different family types you can display on that. Anyway, let's skim through some of the next emoji updates, starting with emoji 3.0 from 2016, which introduced some new faces. Like you can see here the rolling on the floor laughing face.
I've actually had that sent to me in a text quite a lot of times.
Rolling on the floor laughing is actually not a new thing. I actually remember back in 2008 when I was in 8th grade, it used to actually be spoken aloud in abbreviated slang as ruffle. Just like saying
okay.
lol as in laugh out loud, which was actually also common back then. So yeah, someone would literally say a joke in class and someone else would respond by saying ruffle or lol aloud. And it was
Lol
just,
is the one I heard.
I know, but ruffle is
not
just
something.
weird.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Lying face, I haven't seen that or had that sent to me or because I don't lie. So
Or maybe
no.
because people aren't lying to you.
Okay.
But why would someone send a lying face to you? Okay, anyway. Down.
Drooling face. Why would somebody send a drooling face?
Well, any emoji, if you don't know what it is, I would think, oh my gosh, that food looks delicious that you've just sent, often used to show desire for a person or object, delicious food. Yeah, that's the one I know of. And may also represent someone is tired or sleepy.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have guessed that last one.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever been so sleepy that I've actually drooled.
So anyway, here you can see like we've got a person shrugging, we've got a pregnant woman here.
I know the shrugging of get asked a question, you don't know what it is, you send that.
2016 and they still didn't have a gorilla or a fox,
Yeah.
a deer. They only just added it then. It's
Yeah.
weird to know a lot of these animals weren't there, and some more foods like avocado, kiwi fruit, potato. Like, it's funny to think that every food in the world is given like an emoji status over time. Just remember later on, you're going to be making a story with some of these emojis. It's going to be quite a challenge. You have to make a story where you can't have more than 2 words in a row without using an emoji. Some of these might give you some ideas. Obviously, some more things like like people doing things,
Yeah.
cartwheeling and that kind of thing, and obviously in multiple skin tones.
Sometimes when I do
Yeah.
a text message and I'm typing in a word, it comes up with an emoji suggestion instead of using that word. And if I touch the emoji, it then replaces that word with the
Yeah,
emoji.
that's right.
I've had
So
that before.
they have that.
So can I have that feature when I'm doing that activity that you need me to do?
You won't. You'll be doing it in Notepad, but you're allowed to copy and paste anything from Emojipedia. You can search emojis from that and use it like
I
that.
don't want to have to search. I want it to automatically pop up because I might not know that something exists and it does.
Well, you can just search it, like click on there and just type the name of it. It's good to see here, even with Mrs. Claus, for example, they've even got skin tones for Mrs. Claus, so we can see them all there too. So being really inclusive. So back here to the example we had with the gun emoji. Originally, it's now called the water pistol emoji, but it was originally just called the pistol emoji. So originally, it was depicted as a classic handgun, okay, like a revolver or some other pistol. But in 2016, Apple was like, actually, let's switch it from a weapon to a toy. There was issues going on, obviously, with the use of those in violent text messages, using a gun emoji, come here now, or you'll get, threats and gun violence and so on.
It's probably something they actually detect. You know how they screen messages you send and stuff, certain words like bomb or this or that. Maybe they screen the emojis for gun or violent things.
Well, yeah, anyway. So Apple in 2016 was like, okay, let's switch from a weapon to a toy.
Oh, and others followed by 2018.
Others followed in 2018.
So it took 2 years.
Yeah, so the thing is, if someone was using an Apple device...
Yeah, and they were sending a toy, it was just like that problem.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of really awkward. I mean, and it talks about this, and people were saying, oh, this is dumb, who cares, what's the point, what next, the poo emoji, political correctness gone mad, won't this be confusing, how dare Apple take away our gun emoji, like, a lot of people were upset by this, so yeah. And someone says, 2 p.m. tomorrow, local park, bring it, as in the water pistol. But then all the other people on other phones, tomorrow, bring it, with a gun. You know what I mean?
It can... inviting him to some big
it's still a water
murder.
pistol fight, but it's like... it'd be very awkward to send that to someone, and then everyone else is like, oh, you know what I mean?
It has to be consistent.
It has to be
really
consistent.
Does.
They have to...
Because that purely sends the wrong messages.
Exactly.
Into that one emoji
that
alone.
one emoji.
Imagine other emojis.
Well, yeah, they've said 2 p.m. tomorrow, local parks, bring it. A cookie on an iOS, on an iPhone.
Yeah.
If you're on an Android 6 phone, it looks like that. A Windows phone. But if you're on a Samsung Galaxy, it's crackers.
Oh, savoury. So it changes it from sweet to savoury.
Which is kind of awkward because...
No, I don't think that is. I think that's good because it means there's going to be more of a variety when you get there.
No,
so
but like,
good.
it's not to a bunch of people. Let's just say this was sending them to their one friend. Let's bring cookies
and
tomorrow.
if that friend was allocated to specifically
bring it and then...
bring a sweet thing and then they bring a savoury thing, and so many other people's have been allocated savoury, then this person who was told to bring a sweet thing brings a savoury thing. You've got too many savoury things.
Yeah,
Great
exactly.
for people who like savoury, but pretty bad for those that are sweet tooth. Do they have an emoji sweet tooth?
I have no idea. We'd have to look that one up.
Talking about teeth and emojis, I heard a story.
We'll discuss that at the end about using emojis as pronouns.
Yeah, okay.
We'll discuss that at the
Because I
end.
remember that, seeing that story. There is.
No, there's not a sweet tooth
what's
emoji.
that? There,
No,
sweet
that's
tooth.
just an image.
Oh, that's an
but
image.
of actual emojis, people just use the tooth emoji, then maybe a lolly.
sweet,
like I'm
okay,
a sweet
yeah.
tooth.
Yeah,
You get what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, how would you do a sweet tooth emoji? All rotten and brown and yellow?
No, you just put a lolly over the tooth.
You can just... Two separate emojis can...
Why do two when you do one? Can do one.
Because then we'd have too many emojis.
We already have too many emojis. What's another one?
Thousands and thousands
What's
of
another
emojis.
one?
Anyway, yeah, but then what's another one? What's another one? What's another one? In all these situations.
Exactly. That's how we got to where we are now.
Exactly. Anyway, Emoji 4.0 was released in 2016 as well. And I'll show you some of the stuff that this added. We finally had blonde hair.
Oh,
So a
okay.
woman with blonde hair, or a man with blonde hair, and a woman frowning and a man frowning. So you can actually, instead of just an emoji face, you can get more specific. Is that a woman with that happy or sad face, or is that a man? So we're getting a bit more into that kind of thing now.
I think that's overkill. Oh, but it could. I can see where it could be used. It could be used in a situation where a certain comment would offend women specifically, or a certain comment would.
I'll give you another example of
specific
something
to
that's going
men
here.
or whatever.
See how they've got the men gesturing okay, women gesturing okay, men tipping hand and all of this kind of stuff. And see now we've got a man shrugging and a woman shrugging. Do you remember earlier when they first added the person shrugging?
That's a man.
This is what it does on Windows 11, because it's always whatever is displayed here is what it is on your system that I'm using, and I'm using Windows 11. That's their person shrugging. Now, it's meant to be non-gendered. So if we look at it on other ones, Apple show it as this, Google Nodo color show it as that. Samsung show it as that.
Okay, let me just go
Yeah.
go up. I'll tell you what I think. Apple, that looks either like a young boy or a sort of a masculine female.
What it's supposed to be is it's supposed to be non...
The Google one looks male to me. Mm-hmm. Samsung, a little boy.
Microsoft is a man.
Definitely a man. Oh, WhatsApp,
woman.
definitely a woman. I think they don't even know. So,
Okay.
that one looks like it's definitely male, but he's thinking, no, I don't want to be, kind of thing, and definitely male.
This is my favourite emoji set, the Microsoft Teams emoji set, because, I mean, it's a 3D animated, it's quite good, I think. I've always liked that emoji
Actually,
set.
you know what?
What?
It looks like he's going, woohoo!
Do you think man or woman for that?
Man.
Okay.
100%.
So it's supposed to not specify a gender.
Okay,
It's supposed to be,
How
you know...
come I can clearly see what these are then?
So these kind of ones, like, for example, here's the hand up one. Do you notice it's once again trying to look like half man, half woman type thing? It doesn't want to specify a gender.
Yeah.
Apple does a better job of it than the other ones.
That emoji, it looks like somebody has said they're a male and she's going, I'm actually a woman.
Oh, okay.
That's what it actually looks like to me.
So previously, the person putting their hand up emoji was displayed with a gendered appearance, but now it's showing as gender neutral. Because if you don't specify the gender, if you're not a man raising hand or a woman raising hand, it just does it as gender neutral. Previously in the past, it was generally displayed as a woman raising their hand on most things.
Why,
in fact,
they're
if we
trying
go...
to say that... Well, that's true, because women will ask questions, whereas men will try and work it out
So
for
if we
themselves.
actually go back in time a bit...
You know, with direction, for instance.
If we go back in time a bit, see, this is iOS 15, iOS 13. This is what it used to appear as.
Yeah, okay.
Apple used to display this as a woman. These are all the versions of... The Apple kept updating it. These are all the Apple ones.
What about the next one?
No, this is Google Noto, and then you can go back in time and see how Google Noto has changed.
Okay.
And see, it was a woman, but in the past it was actually an android.
It was actually a chicken.
Kind of a blob. But anyway,
Looks like a chicken.
It was mostly a woman before, and then they just made it gender neutral.
Okay.
So now you can... So the whole thing with this was to make... You can have a man doing it or a woman doing it. It wasn't specific. The problem you had before was two men could be texting each other. One guy asks another one a question, and then the other one's, I don't know, and he does the shrug emoji, and it's a woman. It's like it's had an instant gender change. So that's why we kind of wanted to specify, why does shrugging people always have to be women?
Okay.
You know, that kind of situation.
Well, I know why, because women are the ones that mainly ask the questions, and men try and just work it out for themselves.
Anyway, and now we've got healthcare workers, a man healthcare worker, a woman healthcare worker.
This is the same with your father. You know, whenever, say we're somewhere and I'm trying to work out where we need to go or where something is.
Yeah.
I'll say to Ben, go and ask somebody. And he'll just be trying to look at a man, working it out and looking at sign, trying to work. And then by the time, he's just busy trying to work it out, I will have gone and asked somebody and worked out exactly where it is.
Yeah. Okay, well, so these are all like the profession ones now. So, for example, man teacher, woman teacher, a judge. You see that kind of thing, a farmer. So we're getting professions here into it. By the way, let's have a little look at how let's say the woman teacher appears on various platforms. Because you can see they all have their own thing to it. So Apple have a woman like that in front of the blackboard. See all the teachers, they all appear slightly different.
She's an older one.
Yeah, everyone. And sometimes they might think...
looks like a student.
But some might think, like when you're designing a teacher emoji, what would you think of? They all think it has to have a blackboard. Sometimes it's a green board. Sometimes
and
it's
a lot of
blackboard.
them have glasses.
A lot of them, yeah. Do they have glasses?
Yeah.
Do they not have glasses? Should there be something written on the blackboard? Should it be big writing? Should it be little writing that you can barely read?
Yeah.
And obviously, Microsoft Teams, the best emoji set out there from 2022, is animated in 3D. Pretty cool. Every teacher, and sometimes they're holding a book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many different emoji sets, and they all look different. It's just amazing to see, like, every
That one
company...
looks like a student too, the LG one.
Well, there you go. So all the different jobs here, you've got judges, farmers, cooks, so different chefs and stuff, a mechanic, factory worker, office worker. So they're trying to make sure
Scientists.
that they're getting a lot of jobs. You know, someone could say, my mum is a scientist and my dad is a woman technology. I mean, a man technology. I was just reading it. You know what I mean? Or a singer. He's a singer. Let's just change it to that. Or an artist, police officer. So they added a bunch of... That was Emoji 4.0's. Its main thing was to add a bunch of construction workers. See how many jobs they added there? Even
A lot.
Yeah.
And even one's wearing turbans.
And a man getting a massage and a woman getting a massage. It's a very weird emoji.
And the haircut too.
When would you ever use this emoji like texting your friend, I'm currently getting a massage, running and horse riding, golfing, see, so many things, surfing, so many activities and jobs and stuff, and none of this existed before. It's just, you know, it goes on forever. We never get, oh, and they added single parent families. So next up we had Emoji 5.0. This was from 2017. And this was mostly about emoji sequences for gender and skin tone variants and things like that. So as you see here, we've got some more faces. We've got a child emoji. This is meant to be a non-gender based thing. So it's a boy, a girl, or if you're saying there's kids at the place. You know what I mean? You use this one. You've got a person with a beard, an older person emoji, you know, a breastfeeding emoji. They're getting at it. Even some, what do you call it, like mythical type emojis and that kind of thing.
And zombie.
Yeah. So there's, more foods and things like that. And more hand gestures and more children. And whenever you see person, it just means non-gender specific.
Well,
so not a man
that one's
or...
got a beard.
No, that's a person with a beard. It's not a man with a beard or a woman with a beard. That's just a person with a beard.
How many women do you know with beards? I mean, that's
well,
amazing.
if they forget to do the epilating on their face or the waxing, whatever women do to get rid of
it doesn't end up looking like that.
Maybe for some it does. Breastfeeding with all the skin tones and even all these.
They don't have a male one doing that, do they? Oh, no, it's not breastfeeding. It's
no, man's
using
feeding a baby using a bottle. Yeah, they don't... there's a man elf and woman elf. So all these elves and zombies and stuff, it kind of goes on forever. So now you're probably thinking, okay, that was Emoji 5.0 and now the next one is Emoji 11.0. Like, wait, what happened to Emoji 6, 7, 8, 9? Well, basically, as these emojis are all still a part of Unicode, they wanted the Unicode release
Just
number.
like there's no Windows 9.
They wanted the...
And do you know why?
Yeah, I know, because it's 7, 8, 9.
Yeah, I know.
They wanted the Unicode number to match up. Remember there was Unicode version 10 and all of that?
Yeah.
They wanted the Unicode number to match up with the emoji number. So instead of having, Unicode 10, which is emoji 5, they just want Unicode 11 is emoji 11.
Oh,
Do you get what I mean?
okay,
to keep it simple, and that was the thing. And they just added a few new, a smiling face with hearts around it, a hot
I
face,
get
a
that
cold
one
face.
a lot, the smiley face.
Yeah, and to think that one only started in 2018.
Yeah, I get that all
So
the
it's
time
very
from
new.
a particular person.
Okay, and hot face and cold face, woozy face, partying face. So yeah, they added more like body parts and things and supervillains. A raccoon
That's a
and llama.
Fortnite emoji. The llama.
Yeah, they love their llamas in Fortnite and think they didn't have peacocks and parrots until 2018. How sad.
Well, they don't have budgies.
How discriminate.
They
Okay,
should
yeah.
have budgies.
Yeah, but that now is specifying you're getting into too many species.
Well,
There's-
technically, budgies are a type
there
of
are
parrot.
over 10,000 species of birds.
I know.
You can't have 10,000 bird emojis. You would sit there and
Why
just
not?
look at them all.
The more the merrier. What's an extra one? Or 2 or 1,000?
Not that again. Because let's say you wanted to start your own new device now and you wanted to release a new phone and you didn't want it to be Apple or Android. You've got to sit there designing just 10,000 bird emojis. You've got to draw every single one of them before you can even release your device. You know what I mean?
I like this flat shoe and it looks like it's got a little bit of a heel.
Yeah, well, let's see if flat shoe actually looks different on, no, it always has a bit of a heel.
Well,
See,
technically...
I think that is quite different. I just bought some new shoes. You could say to
They're
someone,
actually ballet
and then it looks
style
like
shoes.
that. You know, like they should at least kind of be the same colour. I mean, they're all different colours. That looks completely
That
different.
looks like a flat shoe, that one there.
Oh, that one does.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah.
That does not look like a flat shoe, that other one. That's definitely not a flat
It looks
shoe.
like a sock.
Oh, what's a toss face? Oh,
No, Toss Face is...
it's a brand. I thought that
yeah.
was the emoji toss face, and I'm thinking, what's a shoe got to do with it?
No,
Face being
even
tossed.
PlayStation made their really bad emojis.
That
Too blurry
is.
and small. But yeah, anyway.
Okay.
All the shoes and how different they look. But anyway, lots of various different objects here. More different leg emojis with different skin colours and feet. It's just odd sending, I don't know, just a body part emoji. You know?
No, it is.
And then red hair. Finally, if you've got red hair, you can have an emoji for you. You know, because before it's brown or blonde.
Man, curly
and
hair.
curly
That
hair.
doesn't even look curly.
Apple.
Yeah, that looks curly.
Curly.
That looks
Curly.
That looks curly.
That's really quite big on that one, hey?
That's curly.
Microsoft.
That's
Well, that
curly.
was the one that you just saw at the top. It was just quite small, so you
Oh,
couldn't see
and
the
that's
curls
why I
very
couldn't
well.
see it
But
curly.
that is what it
Okay.
looks like when it's big.
Okay, so they're tight
That's
curls.
really curly. Where's the Teams one? There's the Microsoft Teams with curly hair. See, I love it's a 3D animated face. It's so good.
Yeah.
So, man with white hair now. A bald man. A woman with red hair. Woman with curly hair. So finally women. So all the different hair types are woman with white hair. You know, a woman that's bald. And with all
Yeah.
the different skin tones. And then, of course, all the man superhero or woman superhero and so on. So, yeah. So we're now up to Emoji 12.0 from 2019. So this one was mostly added a yawning face, finally. That took a long time. I mean, Skype had a yawning face in 2004. So now mechanical arms and legs, you know, to be
Yep.
people who were, you know, part cyborg and stuff.
And falafel for vegetarians.
Absolutely,
and
more
stuff,
skunks,
yeah.
otters, sloths, garlic. I'm still surprised they didn't have all this stuff before. More objects, briefs, shorts, you know, all various things like that. And of course, more different coloured ears and deaf people with different coloured skin tones. So yeah.
I noticed there were colours there, and I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
why would you even need a colour when they're doing so obviously with the colours?
Oh no, these are coloured circles, like circles
Oh.
and squares and stuff. If you just want to say, I bought a green square today at the shop.
How many people buy a green square?
I don't know. People who don't like red circles. So woman kneeling, it just goes on forever. And they also added people holding hands in different skin tones. So now you can hold like a dark skinned person could hold a light skinned person's hand and stuff, but before they couldn't in previous emoji sets. Okay, 12.1 was all about being gender neutral. So they added a person with red hair instead of a man and a woman with red hair. This is just like if you want to specify something. Let's say you were saying something negative about people with red hair, and you didn't want to be sexist while you were saying it. So you might say,
Well, you're already doing the
I don't know, I was
thing.
trying to think of an
Why
example.
would you do, I guess, less
Look,
of the wrong thing?
maybe you're saying, red-headed people are always getting all the attention because they're the best-looking people in the world. So you've said something really mean like that, and if you have a woman there,
But
you're
you
saying...
complimented them in the end by saying because they're getting the attention.
Okay, well, I'm not good at giving insults, so I'll just give a compliment instead. Let's say you say something really great about a red-headed person, but you say red-headed people are the best, and you have a woman red-headed emoji. Instantly, you're saying that red-headed woman people are the best only when they're women. So by saying person, you can use it in a non-specific
Yeah,
way.
okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or
So,
just
yeah.
like the one that I always say is that Chinese people tend to be very polite, you know, and you say, oh, don't be, you know, that's racist. But I'm saying, but that's a good thing about them.
I don't consider that racist, but if you say something like a comment, Asian people are really smart.
But they are, generally.
In many situations, they are very smart, but the problem you've got, these are just all more gender neutral, just person rather than man and woman, and even the healthcare worker, without being a man or a woman healthcare worker, if you wanted to say, this is what I think about healthcare
But they look
workers.
like men.
Microsoft does a bad job at this, okay? Microsoft does a bad job, but they're supposed to not look like... But anyway, if you say Asian people are really smart, and then let's pretend you're an Asian student at a school, and you're not doing so well. Let's say you're getting 60% on all your tests and stuff, and then people are like... Asian
still
people are
passing.
you're no, but the thing is, that gives you, because I'm Asian, I'm supposed to be so smart, I'm supposed to be going so well, and then that makes you feel bad as an Asian. I'm failing being an Asian, you know, and that it just puts a lot of pressure on people.
I know, but
you know, people with glasses are smart is another one.
that's why I always say most.
But then what if you wear glasses and you're not smart? You feel like you're
That's
failing.
why I cover myself and say most as opposed to all.
Okay, so Emoji 13 was approved in early 2020, and it added stuff like, you've got a smiling face with a tear, a disgusted face. That is the funniest disgusted face.
Looks like one of those things, you know, you're wearing the glasses that have the eyebrows attached. You know,
Yeah.
one of those things. That's what it looks like. That It doesn't look disgusting.
It doesn't look disgusted. It just looks like a
silly.
disguised face. I would say man
disguised.
wearing a disguised face. I don't know. Oh, it is. Oh, wait. Disguise. Oh, it is a disguised face. I thought it was a disgusted face. I spelled it wrong. I mean, I read it wrong. Okay. Well,
They're doing a good job of it then because it is disguised.
See, that shows that even when I was told Onemoji, when I thought Onemoji was another, I still figured out what the emoji was.
You did.
And that shows what a great job they've
What
done
a
of that
great
emoji.
job. Yeah, that's
Even
it.
thinking it was one emoji
Because I
and then
can see
getting
it
another one out.
clearly says disguise, but I was just seeing it at the, at the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
You said it, and I thought it must be disgusted, and I thought they don't look disgusted.
Okay, so you have
And I said myself, they look like they're wearing the glasses with the eyebrows attached.
yeah, you've got more animals here and things like that. You've also got, if we go down past all these, like mirrors, window, elevator, so many objects. A toothbrush was only just added. They added the transgender symbol. Now, these are more things where they mixed up the gender, like they made a woman and a man be able to do the same gender roles. For example, we've got a man in a tuxedo and a woman in a tuxedo. A man with a veil on and a woman with a veil on. So they've made it so both a woman can be feeding a baby.
But wait a second.
And a man can be feeding it with a bottle.
Black
A
cat
black
looks
cat-
blue.
Well,
Navy blue.
that's just the way Microsoft does it. Apple does it as a black cat. They do it as a black
A grey cat, a
Microsoft
purple
is just
cat.
like blue. They change their mind.
Actually, it's purple.
Yeah, and Microsoft Teams have it as purple as well.
But that's so silly if it's supposed to be a black cat.
and it's purple. Well, Microsoft just, they do things a little bit differently. Now we're up to September 2020. So these are very, very, very new emojis now. We've got more variations for people kissing and stuff. So people can kiss with various different races now.
I like the face with the spiral eyes. What's that all about?
Face with spiral eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's...
When would you use that?
Well, let's find out. I've never used that before. That's a very
Maybe
new one.
confusion?
Dizziness or hypnosis.
Oh,
So it's like I've just been
okay.
hypnotized or I'm dizzy. That's what you'd use that as.
Okay.
Okay. So they added more. Remember we had that person with a beard before?
Yeah.
They said, okay, let's be more specific. You can have a man with a beard or a woman with a beard. Or kissing with various different, what do you call it? Skin colors as well. So they added that. They added a lot of them because there are so many different skin colors combinations.
Let's just say lots of people are kissing.
And now comes up to their latest version that we've been using recently,
Handshake.
which is Emoji 14.0. Now, this was released, this was approved in September 2021.
This is actually funny. Can I just
Yeah.
tell you why?
Why?
Because back in 2021 and 2020, they were always encouraging this, the elbow bump. And here they have a handshake. And when does it come
Handshake
out?
already existed. It was mixed skin tone support.
Oh,
so you can
so
have,
the mixed skins.
instead of just a handshake that's always
Okay.
yellow, you can have ones that are, let's have a little, so you'll notice something here. Look at all the emojis.
Oh, they're not there.
Do you know why they're not there?
Why? Because they haven't been created yet?
So September 2021 was when this was released,
Yeah.
Emoji version 14, and they're like, okay, now everyone go make the emojis. Windows 11 just still hasn't made them yet, as of August 2022. I believe Windows 11 is just about, I think they're in beta at the moment,
Oh,
but
okay.
if you're using Windows 11 right now and you haven't got like an early access version of it where you're beta testing and stuff, we still don't have the emojis. But if I wanted to see these emojis here, they are compatible with Gmail, so I can paste them in there, melting face emoji, see? But I'm
okay,
looking
there
at
they
them
are.
in Google's form of them. You know what I mean?
Yes, I see.
Just as an example with this, to show how far Microsoft is behind with this melting face emoji, you'd use the melting face emoji, so I'll show you the Apple version. That's what it looks like. Do you know when you'd use that? I mean, that's very
Yeah,
new.
on a really
You'd have
hot
that now.
day.
Yeah, so you can be used to talk literally about extreme heat,
Mm-hmm.
but can also be used metaphorically to talk about embarrassment, shame, or slowly sinking sense of dread. So it's like,
But they've got, I wouldn't say sinking sense of dread because they've got a slightly smiley face to them. Do you know what I mean? And you wouldn't be all happy if
Well,
you were
let's
sinking
pretend.
in
Let's
dread.
get a scenario where you might be like that. It's your first day of high school. The teacher says, "I'd like to introduce a new student." Get up and you stand at the front of the class, and you've got a smile on your face. Tell us more about yourself, and you let out the biggest fart, and you're trying to hold it in. Tell us about, and the whole class is watching it, and everyone's silent. And then,
I
and then,
wouldn't
and then
have
you're
a
like,
smile on my
and
face.
then you're sitting there, you don't know what to say, and you're just thinking, "Oh, just
And I
eat
don't
me
think
up,
I'd
Rob."
even stay there. I'd just run out the door.
I think you'd go to a new school.
I think so. That's
Anyway,
it.
but they all have, that looks like an ice cream, that one. But these are the melting face emojis that have come out. Some of them look delicious. I
Some
want
of
to eat
them
that
look
one.
like a ghost almost.
But yeah, Windows.
That's a ghost.
Windows, yeah.
That's a ghost. Clearly a ghost.
Windows 11
and
just
the other
don't.
one looked like an octopus. Look, octopus and ghost.
Yeah, but yeah, Windows 11 just still don't have this one out. They should really, I mean, it's now been almost a year and they still haven't released it. But coming soon to Samsung phones and Windows 11. So what you're going to do now is you're going to create a 2-paragraph story in Notepad in Windows 11 with no more than 2 words in a row without using an emoji. So you can use Emojipedia to copy and paste these emojis. So you've got to come up with a story that pretty much fills, see this whole screen at the top?
Yeah.
Write a story now.
With emojis or?
You can only use 2 words in a row before using an emoji. So you can't say, I went to, because I went to is 3 words. So you can, I went walking emoji to my house emoji, where...
Yeah, no, you don't need to give me ideas, because otherwise I'll just do that.
Okay, so a story. So first of all, what's this story about?
I don't know. I haven't decided.
Well, think about what it's about before you just start writing. It's about a day somebody has. So they wake up in the morning and go, start it. It starts if someone's woken up about it.
I want to use the 7 o'clock sign.
Okay, well, you can copy and paste that in. It was 7 o'clock.
Is there an emoji for got out of bed? So, I wonder if got out. Oh, there's nothing. They don't have enough emojis. They've got thousands and they don't have...
Well, just walked.
No.
Walked to the... and then a kitchen emoji.
No.
Woman walking.
Okay, that'll do. I want to see if there's an outside. I'm going to skip breakfast today. Not a good idea, but I'm just going to because it's a bit boring.
I don't think that works very well. Sunglasses, pitch fingers. Yeah, I think to the park. Maybe I walked to the park. Have a park emoji.
I don't want to go to the park. I want to go somewhere else.
Where are you going to go? To the city? There's a city emoji. Oh, the beach. Okay. Yeah,
It's
that's
all...
the other one. Yeah, so it's a beach with an umbrella.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can copy that then. When I walked to the beach. There you go.
They don't have much
I feel there'd
choices.
need to be multiple, though.
No, I'm gonna do multiple.
And found shells. There's 2 of them. Okay, and I walked to the beach and found shells.
I wonder if...
I don't think beautiful's an emoji, because how do you... with butterfly?
Cherry blossom! They've actually got cherry blossom!
Yeah.
I'm going to use that. I love cherry blossom.
Well, in that case, I would have done pink coloured.
No, cherry blossom coloured.
Okay.
My new car that I'm getting is actually
blossom.
cherry blossom.
A Toyota Yaris
Cherry
hybrid
blossom.
4th generation 2020 for those wondering, but it's a 2022 build.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to be built.
Sail. Interesting.
Sail down the... Do they have ocean? It's waterway.
Problem is, if you're in the middle of the ocean, there's not many things out there, and where's the story going to be able to go?
Well, that's what we're going to have to wait and see.
You sailed down the waves.
Yep.
Okay, it sailed down the waves.
Because I saw a coral.
Ah, yeah. I remember that coral emoji.
Now I can use it. Oh, and there's tropical fish.
Problem.
Oh, I know what I'm... Oh, why doesn't it
Windows
do?
11 doesn't have coral emoji yet, but it will, eventually.
Okay, well, I found tropical fish then.
Finding a fish that could... For one moment, I thought it was a fish that could swim, and you're going to do fish that could swimming emoji, and I was like...
I was going to do that, but I decided
Are there
not
fish
to.
that can't swim?
I was actually going to do that. What's a teapot, a plunger, and a bucket for talking? Okay, I'll do people talking.
No. Maybe... Oh, yeah, talking.
Yeah.
I've got one.
What?
Type in swearing.
Oh, really?
A fish that could swear, because you know there's that thing that talking, and that it's called the face with symbols on the mouth emoji, which indicates that you're swearing.
Okay,
Fish that could swear.
No. I want to do me, but I'm just going to do
A
lady.
woman reminded me, well, that was clever, of, a bird, a swearing bird.
I love that bird.
What kind of bird swears, though?
Parrots
Well, let's
are being able to...
Let's press enter, and let's see what birds...
It's
Bird, dodo, baby chick, a parrot. There you go.
It's a parrot. Because the one that I'm thinking of on YouTube, which I've seen so many
Yeah, no
times,
one's got
and
its ability to mimic
always
speech.
makes me laugh, is that one,
Yeah, I know. We can't say it, don't, like that bird will destroy our no swearing policy.
Ah, maybe an eye, a saw. I didn't mean a saw.
An eye! They've got an eye emoji. There you go.
I just want to see.
They've got a pair of eyes too, see?
Do they have a YouTube symbol?
I'll get onto that. No, they don't. I'll talk about that later.
Not?
I'll discuss that later in
Okay,
what
well,
emojis they allow.
I'm going to do TV.
I think you did that task extremely well. That's it.
I was supposed to finish.
No.
At the end.
I didn't realise how small the font was. It was going to be a larger font. Look.
Well, I've just got started here. Let me end my day.
Just on TV. There you go.
You haven't left me much room now.
So it was 7 when I walked to the beach and found shells that were cherry blossom coloured. I then sailed down the waves, finding a fish that could swear, which reminded me of a parrot I saw on TV. That's a really good story. Oh,
No, he
the
was
green.
grey. He was grey.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Was he a grey one or was he a green one? I can't remember now because
I
there's a
don't
grey
know.
one that I love
I know.
seeing and he's always swearing.
I
But there's
know.
a
No, there is a grey one that swears. I know.
yeah, I think he's green.
If you
This
type
particular
swearing
one
parrot on YouTube, you'll find a grey one swearing.
because they always seem to swear.
Okay, green book, green heart, green circle, green square. That one of those two is what you should
I'm just
use.
going to use this one.
Yeah, the
because
square.
a square more indicates.
A colour palette or something.
Yeah, it does.
You're lucky because that didn't exist very long ago. The parrot was green.
I wonder if there's something that indicates large or big.
No, I don't think. 'Cause large is too ambiguous. There's no big emoji. How do you describe big without putting an object there that is big? It's too unspecific. Imagine people in 50 years from now, and they're looking at this like, why are you using words such it, was, when? All of these have emojis now. We speak only in emoji language. I mean, how could it and was and the have an emoji form? Or angry. I think he was an angry.
He was.
So you could do an angry face. Okay, the parrot was big and angry. So there we go. That is the story.
Well, I did it. I did what you said. I think I went well.
Brilliant.
I'm glad I got my cherry blossom in there because that is my absolute favourite colour and my absolute favourite flower.
So remember how Emoji 14 just doesn't display on Windows 11 now? Visit this same page on an iPhone and look, there they all are. You can see all the emojis. See that?
Oh, yeah.
So those are all the new ones released in 14. See how based on the device you view this website on, it puts the Apple emojis on it.
Oh, okay.
You get what I mean? So if you view it on your iPhone, you'll, get the iPhone versions of it. So yeah, that's what I mean. Generally, if new emojis come out like these, try not to use them when they first come out because other people
won't have
them.
And it'll be
and
blank
it'll
lose...
It'll lose all the meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as an example, if you look at all these emojis here, see they've got the color thing here.
Yeah.
It's trying to do a handshake between two different skin colors, but see how it's showing the handshake with that skin color, handshake with that skin color, and it's not showing them combined on Windows yet. So that's the problem. Paste it into Gmail now. Now you can see it displayed properly. This is how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
The handshakes and everything. Heart hands is a really popular emoji at the moment. One of the most popular ones. You've also got the pregnant man emoji now and the pregnant person emoji. So it's a person who's pregnant, but you don't want to specify if it's a man or a woman. So
you know what they should have?
What?
A no comment emoji.
Now let's focus on how emojis are added, because you're probably thinking, okay, well, how are these added? Who chooses to make a biting lip emoji or a coral emoji or a troll emoji? So how does this work? So all emoji submission is done with Unicode. They're basically the company behind approving all the emojis. So who can do it? This process, the Unicode...
Oh, it's open to anybody.
It's open to anybody.
So I can submit...
You can.
A no comment emoji.
Absolutely.
I really believe there needs to be, with all the things that you see happening in the world and things that are just so... There's no words for, let's say. I want a speechless
So
emoji.
you can be face without mouth. Face without mouth emoji. That exists, and it currently exists on Apple as that. See? One of the common uses, express they are speechless.
Okay. Or disbelief.
Yeah. Or embarrassment.
What about no
convey
comments
awkward,
type
disappointed, they're sad, they shy or do not wish to talk with someone. It's often associated with negative feelings. So first of all, when you want to propose emoji, you need to think of one that doesn't already exist. For example, while preparing for this video, I realized that there's actually no Easter egg emoji.
Oh, you're kidding.
I was just thinking,
you would think.
Yeah. So I might come out with the idea that we need an Easter egg emoji, because if you type in Easter egg emoji, what you'll get is you go to Easter and it shows you all the related Easter stuff.
But there is an egg.
That's a normal egg.
Ah.
A normal chicken's egg.
So they don't.
So yeah, they've got a rabbit, you know.
They don't have an actual egg that is decorated.
That's right. There's no
egg.
decorated egg. See, it even says Easter is full of traditions. It is customary to dye eggs, and bake cookies, but they don't actually have an egg. See, eggs are always like that, and it's a bit awkward on Easter sending people, oh, hope you get lots of eggs, as in like, oh, chicken eggs.
Yeah.
What if you're vegan? But anyway, Easter egg. What we're talking about, just so you know, is we're thinking of eggs that would be an Easter egg emoji.
But I just saw something saying coloured egg emoji.
No, there's not. There's just people drawing things, but they're not actual emojis.
They're not emojis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we need an Easter egg emoji. So that's something you might think, well, we need to get this submitted. So you come up with an idea. So in this case, if I wanted to introduce this idea of an Easter egg emoji, it would be my job to create and put together a proposal. So that the Unicode Emojis subcommittee can be objective in handling the many proposals for emoji. I think there's a lot of people proposing these. It's developed a set of guidelines for submitting emoji proposals, outlining the requirements for all proposals. Now, the key selection factors, you need to show, is the emoji going to have a high expected usage?
Well, it will during Easter time.
Is there distinctiveness? For example, does it break new ground? It's substantially different from anything that's out there now.
Well, it's not substantially, but it is different.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing.
Well, there are eggs, but there's just not Easter eggs.
Yeah, but an Easter egg is made of chocolate. A normal egg is like protein and all that.
Yeah. Baby chick ingredients.
So broad scope, and it can represent many things, okay? So if you're anger, you can use that angry emoji for many different situations. You can't use the anger emoji, for example, if your child's just gotten a bird and made it the President of the United States. It's not, that's the only time you'd ever use the angry emoji.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'd actually probably use the laughing emoji. But other people in the world in the US would probably use the angry emoji at me for making the laughing emoji at that situation. Anyway, so it also says, what if I start a petition at change.org? The selection and submission process isn't affected by simple suggestions or petitions. So if someone petitions, we need this emoji, and governments and letters and sees people are sending letters and tweets from celebrities and government officials. So if the Australian government says, we need an Aboriginal flag emoji, they're not going to make it just because a government is telling them to.
Yeah, I know.
There isn't an Aboriginal flag emoji, just so you know. So they're saying people should focus their efforts on working together to provide compelling evidence in the complete submission forms for the emoji they want, okay? So they connect with each other to put forward a solid proposal. And are they limited in variety? So, for example, you can have an emoji for 339 breeds of dogs or 10,000 species of birds, even variety of those. So, for example, you could have an emoji of a large female Welsh Harkland duck looking over its right shoulder with an egg in the foreground. There are so many variations. Yeah. It's just, there's limitations to that. So what are these limitations? One thing is that there's no desire or ability to burden the Unicode standard with emoji-like symbols that are never emojified by major vendors. So we need to make sure that we're not adding so many that the Apple and stuff can't add them all. They can't draw them all. Otherwise, if they're overboard and they're going to be, we're trying to make an operating system, we can't be focusing
on just... Well, I don't understand why there's different variations. Why not just have the one and all of the brands just use that one? It makes it a lot easier.
You're saying Unicode should release their own.
Yeah.
But what if it doesn't fit in with that OS? It just doesn't look right. It's like Microsoft are like, oh, I don't really like that style of emoji. It just looks odd, and we don't want that with our operating system. Yeah, but
as we saw with the other thing, with the gun, for instance, it changes the meaning. You know what I mean? So why not just have it so that it's consistent, so that I'm with an Apple phone, I'm sending this emoji to someone with an Android. The Android person looks it up and says, okay, I understand exactly what you mean. I see what you sent. And it's exactly what you said.
Let's change that up again. It's so hard to develop apps because whenever I develop an app, there's so many different screen resolutions people have. Some people have these big folding phones with large screens, some are little thin screens.
Why can't high resolution so that people with big screens...
No, because it's aspect ratios. What if you make an app that works very well as a rectangle but doesn't work well as a square? And then they say, you know what we need to do? We need to just make sure that everybody in the world has the same smartphone. Let's just make it everyone just has...
The Apple iPhone SE, that's a good one.
Now,
So let's just
that's
make
what
it
you
that.
think. Let's say they thought that everyone has to have a Samsung Galaxy S22 or something.
No.
And you're not allowed to use Apple.
I don't like
because,
Android.
And
with
you
phones.
could extend that out to, we don't want to make apps that are... Why do we have to make apps for an Apple phone, then apps for an Android phone, then apps for a computer? Why can't we just make one app that works on every... that's what we do. Just make it so everyone has to use Android. See, that's...
I didn't
now you're
realise
getting
that.
it.
It's just a little picture. Can't they just copy and paste that little picture? Do you know what I mean? In the Apple, copy and paste it in the Android, and it's the same picture. Why can't it just be an image thing like that? Why does it
Because
have
that
to?
defeats the whole purpose of it if it's an image thing. It
Really?
then doesn't... It's not scalable as well to fit with text and everything. Like, emojis are their own thing. They're good and they're special. So actually, the vendors like Apple, Microsoft and stuff has indicated they want limits on the new characters on emoji sequences as well. Each emoji that they add can be a burden on the memory and the keyboard. Imagine if you open your keyboard with all the emojis and you're scrolling through so many emojis, and the memory impact is important too on mobile devices in emerging markets. Think if you've got a phone that maybe only has 2 gigabytes of storage and then 1.5 gigabytes of that is just the emojis of the operating system.
I wouldn't be surprised with how many there are.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay. I see.
I mean, and the bigger they make, like those Microsoft Team emojis probably take up a ton of storage.
Yeah.
They're quite good, you know what I mean? So, but what if you submit an emoji, the Easter egg, and Unicode doesn't add it? Submitted an emoji proposal and it was declined. What do you happen? So you thought it's well formed, can I appeal it or submit it again? They have a rule. Let's say I put the Easter egg and they say no to it.
I have to wait 2 years.
You have to wait 2 years
to
before
resubmit.
you can resubmit it. Otherwise, someone would go Easter egg, and then they'd say no. Well, what do you mean no? Come on, again, and that each day they'd go back and forth. So to prevent that, they say, go come up with your ideas, show it that it can be really good, and then you can get your Easter egg. One day there was someone will comment on this
2
video.
years is a bit. I mean, I think realistically maybe 6 months to a max of 1 year, but not 2 years. What's this 2 years?
So, for example, this is a reason various factors may cause a well-formed proposal to be declined. For example, a lack of compelling evidence for popularity. So you have to think, if I'm going to do an Easter egg
But something
emoji,
can suddenly become popular.
They don't like
just
transient
after,
things.
No, just after you've submitted it, but then you've got to wait 2 years to resubmit
But it shouldn't be transient too. It actually talks
No,
about...
but there are some things that suddenly become popular, but then they stay popular.
But there are also things that don't stay popular. So here are the guidelines, right? This is where you actually go. And it talks about making a submission and the format and stuff you use. You have to make sure that if you want to submit one, you have to do it between April 4th and July 31st every year. So we can't submit one to April 4th. It's going to be a while, okay?
So it's only during that
During that time you can submit them,
April, May, June, July.
It's only
4
a very
months.
short period of time. And what it also says is scan the list of emoji requests to see whether it's already been submitted. So you go to this emoji request thing and see
my God.
what are people submitting with these emojis. And
Just don't think I'd bother.
yeah, it's quite
They make it so
it's quite a
that
process. So
you
for
just won't
example,
bother.
we've got here
acne declined.
where acne, yeah. In 2020 they wanted to add an acne emoji, an Aboriginal flag emoji.
It was actually declined.
It was declined 2019, so they might have another go at getting the Aboriginal flag in there.
Okay.
They'll probably call it the Indigenous or First Nations flag now because they dislike that term.
An
Also,
angry crying face.
an angry poo.
Oh no, come on. I understand
An
why
angry
that.
poo emoji.
Can I just say, I
Yeah.
really honestly understand why that was declined.
Bacteria emoji. Ballet emoji was approved. So but there you go. This you can sit here and you make sure. Okay, is my
That
thing?
is so funny.
Is it their glue emoji?
Right.
So yeah, hand washing was declined. Interesting. So when you're making this proposal, this is the actual format, and you want to make sure that with the selection factors, there is a high expected usage, as we discussed earlier, but you want to avoid logos, brands, rights, signage, specific people like a Donald Trump
Yeah, I
emoji. You
understand.
can't have that. Specific buildings, landmarks, deities. You can't have any of that stuff. So you can't have a McDonald's emoji or a KFC emoji.
But you've got the McDonald's chips in there, fries.
No, those are a fries emoji.
But they look exactly like the McDonald's. It's in the red carton and everything. That's exactly the McDonald's fries emoji. Look,
And they look different on different, like Apple's looks like that.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
McDonald's fires, and it comes up with fries anyway.
Look, exactly. That's That's what I'm telling you. That's exactly.
We don't have company emojis. In the past, actually, there was a company emoji. This is a little example I'll give you. But it was never approved by Unicode. See how it doesn't even display this emoji? Because it was never approved by Unicode and Windows 11 didn't add it. It was a chain of Japanese department stores. And this is what it looked like. They actually had an emoji for this store.
Oh, you can actually even see.
Oh, yeah.
Like the declined ones.
No, not the declined ones. This was actually
specific.
in place on old versions of Apple. They actually had this, but then in iOS 7 it was removed. You see, and on Twitter, I think they still have it on Twitter, and SoftBank had it for a while.
So even if they get in, they can be removed.
It was never a part of Unicode, though.
Oh.
See, this Unicode character has no emoji version.
Okay.
Apple made it, even though it wasn't a part of Unicode, but now they've removed it and thought, no, we don't need it anymore.
Okay.
And not something that's transient as well. Like, for example, a fidget spinner.
Yeah.
Those were popular, really, really popular for a short period of time, and then they declined.
They're still popular with Jazzy.
Oh, Jazzy never lost interest in those. Anyway, they get very specific on how to actually put forward your proposals. Like they say, if you're going to put it, do a color version of it, do a black and white, never do a grayscale version of your example emoji. The example emoji isn't what is actually it's going to look like. It's just a recommendation of what it looks like, and companies will make their own version of it.
Yeah, I got it.
So rather than looking here at how it's proposed, let's actually see a proposal. Face holding back tears emoji, which isn't on Windows 11 yet, but this is what it looks like. So this is a new one that only just came out.
It looks wrong.
What's wrong with it?
They're smiling. If they're
No.
holding back tears, you're meant to be...
Holding back tears, it's more of like a happy... Well, let's see where it's supposed to be used.
It should be a neutral face.
A range of expressions: sadness, anger, embarrassment,
That doesn't look sad or angry.
I'll tell you what I get from that. When I see that, I think...
They're happy to see someone after a long time. That's what I see.
Like a woman has just gotten married at a wedding, and the woman's looking like
That's
that.
where most people get married.
Yeah.
At a wedding.
You know, you don't have to. Some get married in Vegas and just do a little quick...
But it's still a
Boom,
wedding.
you're married. Yeah, but it's...
Oh, well, no,
different.
it's not. That's a registry.
That's more of a little clap. Yeah. Anyway, but there we go. See, that is what I get from that. Or maybe a foster kid has just found his forever family, been adopted. He's really happy and crying. That's what I see from all of these. So
But
let's
I don't see upset or,
Yeah, it's more of a
holding back tears
happy
for me
crying.
is more of an upset.
So on Emojipedia, you can actually see the proposal. So how did they get approved with this face holding back tears? What did they
So
write?
you can actually see that.
Yeah, so anything
You can
you're
actually
like,
see the
why would they have an emoji for that? You can then look at the approval and how did they get that through? So they've got the person emoji submitter. You've got the name here, Neil Cole, right? He's a cognitive scientist and comics theorist. And Jennifer Daniel, not a... So she's not those things, and she just did a shrug. I guess I'm not those things. And she put it through in 2019.
Yeah.
Okay, and it just goes to show it didn't actually come out till 2021. So when you propose it, it takes a while for it actually to
Yeah, but
get
it was
in.
at the end. Oh, actually, that's
2021
over a year.
September.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it takes a while. Anyway, the colour
Almost
image
2 years.
they did was this. They said this is what it would probably look like, and there's a black and white
And
sample.
you even have to show the closest.
And the closest
existing
emoji one, yeah, and that's the closest one. Keywords, face holding back tears.
Why don't you submit the Easter egg thing?
It's a lot of work. I've got a lot of stuff I've got to be doing.
Oh, well, somebody else.
Someone else or compatibility, and they're saying this emoji...
See, that one to me, the first one
Yeah.
looks like
But
crying.
it's actually saying this emoji actually was on Samsung devices,
Yeah.
but was later redesigned for cross-platform consistency.
Okay.
So this actually, see this face with a tear emoji? That's how Samsung originally drew it.
Mm-hmm.
But they rechanged it to look more like these other ones. Anyway, expected use, it's expected to be extremely high given that the smiley face emoji are the most category, they're the most often used. And they're showing, look on Google, if you search the term stop crying and stuff like that, 518 million results come up, and Bing search, Google video search, it's a common thing, and they're showing pictures of how often people are using it and stuff. And they're trying to prove, look, this is a
so
popular
that is a
thing.
compelling argument.
Yeah, and they're saying, here are some examples of how we could use it in a sentence, and you actually have to show it used in a sentence. They were all so mean, screaming at them, and then I'm crying.
Yeah.
I did not want to cry in front of her. I just couldn't stop the tears pouring out, and then they've used the tears are there to try to hold it back, and then they poured out.
Yeah.
They're using the other emojis to show. And me before cute dog videos, angry. Me after watching the cute dog videos. Oh. Can it be used with non-face emoji to indicate a range of emotions? I'm so proud of you. That's the most beautiful piece of cheese I've ever tasted. Tried to keep a straight face. They're all so nice. Don't hold back. And they go on, and they even show it's compared to existing cartoons, and they show in cartoons and stuff. Look, it is a thing that's used. Strong emotional upheaval that portrays a desire for emotion mixed with resistance to fully showing it. You know, and they go on the amount of things, and they say, okay, is it overly specific? And the person says, no. It's iconic of how you feel when you sigh. It's commonly depicted in pop culture, magna, and, you know, and is it open-ended? No, it's not part of a similar set of items. Is it already represented? No. Is it a logo or brand? No. It's, you know, so that is what it proposed. And you can think, oh, why would they add this emoji? Or why would they add the pregnant man emoji? Or this or that? And you can actually see a thing and how it was convinced for them to add it. So anyway, on to the future now. Emoji version 15. Emoji 15 isn't out yet. It'll actually release in September 2022. So probably around the time this video is released, it'll come out. And some of the new emojis that'll be in it is like hands doing that, different colours, moose, donkey, a blackbird.
That's like high five,
look, blackbird, we have them in our garden.
Yeah.
And jellyfish emoji. These are all things that don't exist now. These are pictures that Emojipedia has just kind of put together and stuff. They don't exist yet. But these will be new things. Anyway, here you can see new emojis in version 15. There's shaking face, blue heart, and moose, donkey, goose, jellyfish. I mean, nobody can leave a comment on this video with the jellyfish emoji that will just be displayed properly to anyone. So maybe one day in the future, someone will comment on this video saying, my legs are wobbling like jellyfish emoji, but I'm not a goose emoji, so I'll post this comment anyway, because those don't exist yet. So someone will post
jellyfish.
That. Yeah.
I can see a use for that in, you know, when we went up to Queensland, we went and, what was that park we went to that saw that? That was the,
I remember SeaWorld, full of jellyfish.
And it was full of jellyfish.
I went and saw the jellyfish.
Yeah.
Okay. If you try and do the blackbird emoji now, this is how Windows 11 is trying to display it. It does a bird, then it's black.
You know what? I would show black, then bird.
Ah, yeah.
I would show bird black.
Well, that's just how Windows 11 shows it now, because it's trying to read the emoji and it just can't. Although it's going to come out in September 22, like they'll release this as our standard and stuff, the final release would come to major platforms late 2022 to 2023. So you know how they're usually behind. Windows probably won't even have this emoji for ages. You know what I mean? So it can take quite a long time. Then Emoji 16.0 is scheduled for late 2023. But, you know, it would come to major platforms in 2024. And we don't really know what's going to be a part of it yet, because it's still all so new. So, yeah. So there's always new things. If you want to submit something now, it'll probably be a part of Emoji version 16 or 17. But, yeah. Do you think you'd go to the effort of submitting? No, it's so hard. You've realised.
I've got a lot of things on as well.
So here we go, just to show how far we've come now. From 1997 with these 90 emojis here that looked like this, to now in 2022, Microsoft, and this is only version 1.0, they'll improve this over time, 2,000 emojis here that are incredible. I just think this is an incredible emoji set.
Yeah, it is actually.
It's really well. Microsoft Teams, I feel like that right now. Mind blowing when I see this. It's so good. Emojis need to be animated, in my opinion, okay? They do. And that's see no evil, speak no evil and all of that. But yeah, they go on forever. You can sit down. Look, you'll eventually get to all the animals if you scroll down and see all the animal emojis. But I just think we've come so far from, you know, those black and white beginnings, really low pixels and stuff, to what we've got now. Even like painting the nails emoji and writing emoji. And it's just amazing. They take so long to load though.
Yeah. Even ears with hearing aids on them.
They've even gone ahead and animated the woman wearing a veil and the man wearing a veil and everything. They've really gone ahead at animating everything that they possibly can. But anyway, even the prince emoji and stuff. So last of all, as I was preparing a pamphlet to give to the future foster kids I'll be looking after in my new house while making this video, I ended up actually using emojis as decoration for my pamphlet. So as you can see, you know, there's a house emoji, a door emoji, tree emoji and stuff like that.
And homework.
Yeah, this is actually intended for children aged 7 to 12. This one, I actually made another one. And this one is very similar to the last one, except instead of going to the park, they're obviously going on walks. Teenagers aren't as interested in going in parks. They'd be more interested in learning some, you know, skills for life rather than playing games like Minecraft and Roblox. It's just interesting how I'm just thinking, if I didn't make this emoji video, I wouldn't have decorated this with emojis, and it wouldn't have been as good of a pamphlet in my opinion. So it just shows how much we use emojis these days. In fact, let's take it a step further into how embedded this whole emoji thing into our culture. We've got emoji movies, it's in our communications, and there are even people using emojis as their pronouns. I don't really understand personally myself the usage of how you use an emoji as a pronoun. So let's just look at a video by a person just did this year on TikTok, and they personally actually use the unspoken tooth emoji as their pronoun. So they'll explain to us better how that works. Just a warning about this next segment of the video based on using emojis as pronouns. I included this segment in an attempt to be more inclusive to a larger variety of genders and link it to the whole emoji topic. But as I have no prior experience with using pronouns outside of he, him, his, or she, her, hers, I completely misgendered this TikTok user multiple times throughout this segment. Note that purposely misgendering someone is considered rude. I certainly wasn't misgendering them on purpose, it was just my own lack of experience and training in using a larger variety of gender pronouns. So, without further ado, let's see what Z has to say.
We're gonna make a real quick video about emoji self-pronouns. First of all, for those of you who don't know, I use tooth emoji,
So, tooth or tooth self?
self-pronouns. Now we're gonna talk about why I don't say those verbally, because first of all, that was really weird to say, ugh.
So you don't pronounce them. So you identify as a tooth emoji, but you don't actually use the word, you don't speak. It's unspoken. That's why I said the unspoken tooth emoji. So let's hear a little bit more of what she's got to say.
So when people refer to her, they have to hold up
you use it in
something.
writing.
Yeah, but
if you want to speak it, well, she'll explain that now.
people with...
How to use those pronouns in a sentence. We're gonna put a sample sentence right up here.
Tooth went to the store, buy Tooth self to get Tooth's favourite chocolate.
That's not going to be good for the tooth.
Yeah, it won't.
Okay, and how do you say those pronouns? You don't. You don't. If you want to say someone's pronouns, odds are they have alternative pronouns you can use, or other neo-pronouns you can use that are for verbally saying. For example, I use XX's and ZZM.
So she uses XX's and she's them. So she uses a tooth emoji when it's written.
In the written
but
form.
then she uses like Z, them.
I must admit, I love the example. To go down to the shop to buy
chocolate for the
tooth.
Tooth is known to, like chocolate stains teeth. It's,
no, it's not. That's just it rots teeth. It's bad for teeth. I mean, that's
yeah,
the worst thing.
for
that
teeth
she
to have.
is identifying herself as a tooth emoji. Then that's the worst thing she can be going down to the shop to be getting.
Yeah. The reason she identifies with tooth emojis, she says her gender, she feels, has a lot to do with teeth. Anyway.
The reason people may use these pronouns is because they connect to those emojis. For example, I use the tooth one because my gender is inherently related to teeth.
So her gender is related to
So
teeth.
what is she saying her gender is? Well, I'm saying her. So,
yeah.
Z.
Actually, I do believe she posted she doesn't like
We
when
keep
people...
calling she her. She posted.
Well, she said her pronouns, spoken pronouns, she likes Z, them. That just has got to be about the worst sentence in this video. Let's analyse how I just failed as a host there due to my inexperience and lack of practice with using alternative pronouns, and how I didn't even notice I was accidentally doing it until Diana brought it up. The sentence was, she said her pronouns, spoken pronouns, she likes are Z, them. So in this one misjointed sentence, I misgendered them 3 times using pronouns like she and her rather than Z's preferred pronouns of Z, them. And in that same sentence, I even verbalized Z's preferred pronouns right at the end after misgendering them, demonstrating that I knew what Z's pronouns were, but completely failed to use them. We'll cut back to the video now, and you'll see how Diana and I laugh off how terrible I am at using the correct pronouns for people. Clearly, I need a lot of practice to improve on this. We'll move on now because I didn't mean to misgender her. That was the worst thing I just did. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to misgender Zem. I didn't mean to misgender Zem. I apologised and said I didn't mean to misgender her. I apologised and I did it again as I was apologising.
See, It's too difficult for us to.
Originally, I was going to remove this segment of the video after how badly it turned out, but in the end, I decided to keep it in as a reminder to others of how easy it is to misgender someone who uses less common pronouns. So, if you meet someone new who lets you know their preferred pronouns, it's best to go home and practice speaking about and referring to that individual in the mirror for about 20 minutes before talking to them regularly. Anyway, let's return back to the video now. Okay, so your last activity for the night is to make a memoji, which is something Apple introduced in 2018. But before you do that, let's check out a video of something called Animoji from 2017 that was introduced by Apple.
This is a fun one. It has to do with emojis. But of course, you can't customize emojis. They only have a limited amount of expressiveness to them. So our team created something called Animoji. These are animated emojis. These are emojis that you control with your face. Animojis track more than 50
so you can do an
facial muscle
emoji
movements.
that does exactly what your face
They've been
does.
meticulously animated to create amazing expressiveness.
Isn't that what Snapchat
You just watch
does?
this, can't you?
No, but this is actually,
way-
it becomes an actual emoji that sends from phone to phone. Do you get what I mean? It's not just a filter.
Yeah.
It's an actual, you can send it in a text message. I'm so at you right now with an angry face or something, you know what I
The way you
mean?
create and share an emoji are right from within Apple Messages.
You said a little late. Where are you?
You get what I mean? So that's how you can get an emoji.
You can pick
How cool is that? You can have your voice in it.
I could
and
use
even-
that with your
express
father. Where are you?
And the fact that the eyes went so big on that thing, it worked so perfectly. Let's actually see how you use it. Unfortunately, your phone doesn't have this ability.
What a
I would have
shame.
loved to.
I wish it
You
did.
need a iPhone with a face sensing chip. So although this was introduced in 2017 and your iPhone's from 2020, it just didn't. Your phone just isn't a high enough. Like you have to have a more fancy iPhone. Let's see how you would have used it though.
Now, of course, many of us like to communicate with emoji. And with Animoji, we can now breathe our own personality into our favorites. It's available as an app right inside of Messages. So I can just go right in here, and it immediately starts tracking me. So I can make whatever expression I want, and just pick that up and use it as a sticker,
Seeing
drop
drag
it on my
how
message
useful
like
is
that. We also let you manipulate these in full screen. You can audition your favorites, and there's some really great ones, like the kitty cat. He's so expressive and ferocious. It's a happy puppy. Check out the physics in the ears. The pig. The unicorn, mythical creature, favorite of the startup. And
The poo emoji. A
Yes.
poo emoji.
Sick of the pile of poo.
if you were by chance wondering what humanity would do when given access to the most advanced facial tracking technology available, you now have your answer.
Put it on a pile of poo.
Now, these can be so much fun, you're going to want to share them. Unfortunately, we let you
just pause
record
this?
messages. I'm going to record.
Yeah.
The proposal, the initial proposal of the pile of poo emoji, I would really like to know what arguments they brought forward
that was
and
so-
why it would be so widespread and used by so many people and why we need a pile
No, that
of
was
poo. and
so
no-
long ago. That was actually before the whole emoji 1.0 thing and stuff. That was back in Unicode. Like,
Because I can't think of any compelling arguments to have
a
a
poo with eyes.
pile of poo emoji. I just can't.
Bathroom, because poo is like, my animal just did a poo emoji. My doctor asked about my
But why is
poo
it
emoji
there
habits.
smiling and it's why does it have an emotion?
It didn't
on it?
used to in
So it was
some
just
situations.
literally a pile of
some had it with just steaming things and it was an actual poo, but it was kind of gross. It was a yucky emoji.
Well, it's meant to be.
Yeah, but-
I can't think of any poos that are.
Yeah, but
that
emojis
are
are
not
supposed to be
yucky.
fun. And anyway, so this is how you record one if you wanted
Record
to.
a message here for Tim. Hey, Tim, I'm not sure what the protocol is here, but I'd like to call dibs on the fox for my favorite emoji. Which one do you like? Now, you can send it with just a tap, and it appears as a looping video right inside the transcript.
See, that person
We're
can
really
then see
lucky
it and
for our
hear it
grand
and stuff.
finale. We
Isn't that
might
a
just get a response
interesting feature?
back from Tim.
Anyway, we'll stop that
Alien.
now. Yeah, alien. Anyway, we'll stop that now because they also made something called me emojis as well. So that's basically an emoji face that works with the camera like the Animojis, but you can customize it to look just like you. Sadly, you're not going to be able to animate yours on your iPhone SE 2nd generation, but you can still use your me emoji in stickers, which is cool, I guess.
So I'm thrilled today to announce the arrival of the era of memoji. With memoji, you can create your very own personalized emoji. These Animoji can look like you or the real you. We've worked hard to build a deep set of customization.
See how many different types of you can customize Memoji to really look like whatever you look like. There's a lot of...
It's really incredible what you can create.
Anyway, what are you going to create? Let's have a look at you making a Memoji. So your task now, this is the last task for today, is to make a Memoji with your iPhone and then send somebody a text message using it.
Okay.
Oh, look, even on Woolworths here, you got what do you call it? Emojis in that. They're telling you about citrus fruits. Wow, so even you shot back email, catch email. Okay, so this is how you do a Memoji. So tap the third icon there. And now you can be an octopus or, send an emoji as one of these things. But we click on plus. They've got a lot more animals now than they did before. See, like the dog, and there's all that stuff from before.
Yeah.
But there is a lot more animals now, even a koala if you want to be that. First of all, this is what you look like.
I'm going to make it look like as close as possible to me.
Okay.
So that one?
Yep.
I won't put freckles on myself.
Red cheeks?
Not red. I sort of like a pinkish.
The third one looks a bit pink. That's without it? With it.
Oh, it's
without
very
it, with
mild.
It. Yeah, so it's a very mild
Well,
thing.
I will pick that one. My hair, I'd say I'm...
What colour do you think your hair is?
Oh, and you can adjust it here.
And do highlights as well, yeah.
Oh, the hairstyle first.
Yeah.
Am I like that? Actually, that looks very similar to my driver's license. And I don't
really?
like the photo on my driver's license at all. It's not that curly.
I think maybe that one, personally.
I don't know. I just don't feel my hair is actually here. Yeah, that. And bald.
Yeah, okay.
I'll have to...
I think what you have is pretty similar.
That's with the part in the middle. I actually have the part in the side, but...
So would you say that's your colour?
Yeah, it's sort of...
Okay, we'll add highlights then, and let's have a little look.
I can actually
highlights. So you can do a little bit of blonde.
No.
And then make it really dull or less. Yeah, there you go. Eyebrows. Oh no. Why did I? After you doing The Sims, I'm just thinking.
No, I know.
I just realised now you're customising a face. It's like the same thing as The Sims. At least you don't do the clothes now.
Eyes, I'm actually a greeny sort of. Am I darker or about there? How do my eyes look?
There are so many different
Maybe
looks of eyes. Okay. Head now, or wait, is there an option down below? Eyelashes, I see. There you go. It's very subtle, all these things. Actually. Oh, wait, eyeliner.
Yeah, definitely black.
That?
Yep.
Okay, great. Is there any more eye stuff? I mean, it is an iPhone. Eyeshadow. How old are you? So the younger is at the top, and then as you go down, it's older. So that's the oldest. You're clearly not that. Then we look at the youngest. You're clearly not that.
I'm in the middle.
Shape. You could be there for ages trying to figure out the shape of your head.
Well, I'm not really round, but I sort of... But they all look... I'll just pick that one. I don't know. It's too hard.
Nose. Oh, come on. This is getting ridiculous now. These minor little things.
Nose. I'll do one in the middle. Not too small, not too big. I don't have a pierced nose. Oxygen tube. I can't believe they have that as a... I mean, surely there are some with an but people with oxygen tubes wouldn't be doing this, I don't think. Would they?
No, they could be, because they could be in the hospital with an oxygen tube, and then they'd be in the bed and be like, oh, I've got to send a text to someone.
Oh, gosh, Dracula teeth or missing teeth. Well, I hope I don't have anything like that. I don't want my ears to stick out. I just want it like that. Earrings.
There you go. I can see them under the ears now in the picture.
Facial hair, I'll just stick with no facial hair.
Yeah, you do. So no sideburns, no beard.
No moustache or beard, thank you very much.
Do you want to see what it looks like? Just tap it on and try it on. What? Try that. Try it. Just see what it looks like.
I will not put that on my face. I won't have an eye patch, thank you.
No, you don't usually wear hats.
I don't actually. Clothing, my favourite colour, light.
Oh, you can do clothes. Oh no. Oh, look at the different types of clothes. Oh dear. Oh no.
Oh, that's not enough.
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, that's not enough. And there's no nice dresses. Are you serious? Oh, that one will have to do.
Okay, so now you can send an emoji. Okay, so what emoji do you think you'd send to someone?
Well, it depends what I want to say. First of all, hi.
So you can send that to someone.
I just sent it to you. Hi.
On the phone that I'm filming with.
And there it came on.
Yeah, see, and it actually works even on an Android phone. It's actually worked. So you can send things to people like that actually looks like you know.
The laughing out.
See, so
lol.
that instead of feeling like a different person, Apple have it like if you're angry at me and can we have pizza tonight? You can do that one. Or
that time out when Jazzy's chucking a tantrum.
Well, that's more. Can we have pizza tonight? That's what you use. Oh, you did that. I think in the intro.
Yeah, no,
maybe.
no,
I don't know. Oh,
I
okay.
chose not to.
Did you do a shocked face?
Yeah,
you didn't have the hands up.
I didn't have the hands up.
Well, there we go. That was making a me emoji, but this is just an Apple thing right now. We don't know if this will branch out and become as common as normal emojis. Okay, great. Well, that wraps up our history of emojis. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the future in regards to the future development of emojis and how they're introduced into virtual reality and augmented reality and how many emojis there will actually eventually be. Maybe supermarkets like Coles and Woolworths will have an emoji collecting set where for each $10 you spend on your shopping, you get a free mini plastic emoji and you have to try and collect the whole set of 3,000 of them, hoping each time you open the wrapper that you won't get a double. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this super long episode of OS First Timer. Thanks for making it to the end.